Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Lynette.
Good morning.
Good morning, America.
Can you scooch over?
Can me?
Me?
Both of you.
Here,
Like together?
Get closer, yeah, like that.
Hey.
No.
No.
Just scooch more in the center of the frame. Okay. Thank you.
It's fine. Look,
It's fine. It's 6 o'clock in the region. You're listening to WJOB, 1230 AM, 104.7 FM in beautiful rustic Hammond, Indiana. Streaming live on the YouTubes.
And can I just interrupt right out of the gate? If you don't normally watch on YouTube, today might be the day. If you're home today, check in on YouTube.
I'm feeling patriotic.
I told Bob this feels like a fever dream. The only difference is I'm sitting next to Bob and not Alex Jones, and I'm not selling knives at 2 in the morning. But other than that, I've been here before having flashbacks.
I like the flag.
We just need, where's the fern? We need a fern right in the middle, and then we would have been all set.
Maybe on one of our breaks we can
Okay, go find a fern.
rummage through the, I'm sure there's something.
Oh, I'm sure
here.
there are. Like a palm tree or something.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Do you want me to do traffic?
Well, let me do traffic because I'm often told that I'm terrible at traffic, and I think now is my opportunity to shine. Not unlike America did 250 years ago. It's our time to shine. Traffic in the region and the Chicagoland area is just fine this morning. Everything is just fine.
Fantastic.
All of your 80s, all of your 90s and 94s, all of the 2s and 3s in front of your 90s and 94s. Everything's looking good. All the way down to the 4-lane Ridge Road.
For now.
For now. Too soon. 30 and 41s. They're all good.
Hey, how's 30 and Dyer doing?
30 and Dyer is now great.
Really?
Now
That's
great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it wasn't for a few days.
Yeah.
But now it's good.
Thanks for the heads up on that.
Thank you, INDOT. Hey, what about weather? Let's do weather before we start talking about freedom and the warmth of collectivism.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 72 degrees with highs of 89, lows of 72. It's going to be humid this morning with a thunderstorm in spots, followed by a heavy thunderstorm this afternoon. And tomorrow on Saturday, we'll be having highs of 87 and lows of 71, with periods of clouds and sun with a couple of heavy thunderstorms, very humid. And Sunday, we'll be having highs of 84 and lows of 66, with intervals of clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, and will be humid.
And it's humid because of fossil fuels.
Yes, absolutely. It's because you didn't ride your bike.
Because I didn't ride my bike. So
Yep. That's why it's hot.
It is.
Yeah.
That is what the CNNs are telling us.
And that must be true.
The headline today is, this heat wave would be virtually impossible if not for fossil fuel pollution. So if you have a bike today
is the day to ride it.
Today it is.
Put your money where your mouth is. Ride your bike wherever you're going.
Yes. If you love Mother Earth. 219-845-1100. Give us a call with any of your 4th of July plans, Independence Day celebrations. Chuck, what are we calling this holiday tomorrow?
The semi-sesquicentennial? Is that what you said?
Semi-quincentennial.
Semi-quincentennial. It's a lot of words for 250.
It is.
I'm just going to go with 250.
250.
250.
250. Have you seen those shirts that say 250?
No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I should have thought of that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to need about 250. That's America. Okay.
We got a call already.
Yeah.
We're just 4 minutes in.
Let's take it. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good
Bob
morning.
Happy 4th of July Eve to you, sir.
And is that Brett, or is he acting like Brett?
Bama and barbecue. I'm Brett.
I'm Brett.
I'm Brett.
1440 Gilman Avenue.
Get your barbecue. Yeah,
you know, all your callers are going to get mad at me mentioning that word again, and you bring it right up. I was not going to say a word about that kind of meat. So chill. Let's enjoy. But I got a question for you both, and I know you got a laptop sitting there. You can probably hurry up and punch it. Mount Rushmore.
Right.
All those 4 that are carved into stones, were they Republicans, Democrats, or conservatives?
What?
All 4 of them that are mounted in that stone at Mount Rushmore, were they Republicans, Democrats, or conservatives?
The 4 presidents carved into Mount Rushmore represent a mix of political parties, specifically 2 Republicans, 1 Democrat, and 1 Democratic Republican. Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
So like three-fourths.
Undecided, much like Congress.
Congress is a party.
Yeah. Today, 250 years, so, Thursday on Tom's show, because of all this nagging and complaining about Haven House, let me say something about me that explains what Bobby said, that lady, okay? I'm retired. I've been retired 3 years now, driving a truck. I always wanted more pay for my job, okay? Now that I'm retired, I'm helping at the academy, and I'm retired. I don't need to get paid a lot anymore for doing what I'm doing to teach people, okay? I don't get paid good for what I'm doing at that academy, but the way she explained it, and I'm going to say it is, I get the reward of showing these new people coming in of how to be a truck driver, a good truck driver, everything. I'm not making a lot on it, but like I said, it's the reward that every time I see these people pass, and we taught them to drive a truck supposedly respectfully. Once they get their license, nothing we could do. But that's the thing. I don't get paid a lot, but the thing is, my reward, I don't care about the pay. My reward is I did my part and did as good as I could to teach people. And, people nag and complain about all these facilities that help somebody when they really need help. Okay, they nag and complain about this person, that person, that. Okay, the thing is, okay, they're going to complain about it. But someday, when that person that nagged and complained so much about something like that and going to need help, what are they going to do? Are they going to just sit back and sit back, or they're going to stoop low and go to the person? So they got to think about it, because I know how the situation happened to me. I never badmouth any of these places that help people out, because simple reason, someday somebody will need it. But boy, you two look good. Look nice.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
For the two. But you guys are not 250 years old, are you?
Combined. Pretty close, yeah.
Yes.
But here, real quick, before you move on, I don't want to spend another show talking about this whole whatever made up Haven House controversy. You hit it on the head. Volunteering, helping people is its own reward. It's whatever word you want to use, enriching. Volunteering and helping your community pays back in dividends that most people don't even appreciate. When I see these people arguing on Facebook, I jump in and I go, "What are you doing for the community? When's the last time you volunteered?" I'll drop in like, "Hey, go volunteer." Do you know what I mean? Like, hey, you seem to be obsessed with the news, and you seem to be obsessed and stuck in this political cycle, and this guy bad. Why don't you go volunteer? Take a day off, as they say, touch grass. Go volunteer, and maybe you'll find that there's clearly something missing in your life. Go volunteer, go do something for your community, and you'll find that that's way more enriching than posting memes on your local community Facebook page. Go ahead, carry on.
Because I do a lot of helping out and stuff, because I never expected what happened and needed that. Okay, and now when somebody asks me to kind of help something, do I care about getting paid? No, because you know what? The old saying, you give, and guess what? You're going to receive.
Right.
Just like all these festivals, Dyer, Cherville, Cedar Lake, they have people that volunteer and help. Now what would happen? How would those festivals do if you had to pay them people? You've got so many people out there that help and just do it because you know why? They like the reward, and they like to be around and showing that they're just donating their time to do something good for everybody else. So I'm going to let you guys go. Everybody have a good 250th 4th of July. Maybe in another 250 years, I'll see y'all.
Well, maybe for the 300th, we'll get together at your trailer.
Have a good weekend. We've got another caller who's just dying to talk to us.
Good morning, caller.
Hey, Bob, your outfit rocks, man.
Hey, I'm working it today.
That's actually his painting outfit. He spilled paint on it.
This is my painting outfit.
He was painting the house.
It's hard to find fat guy patriotic clothes. I got this from Hammond Tent and Awning. But thank you.
Hey, I had a question. I had a question for you guys, and I don't know if you have the answer, but if someone listening could call in if they have the answer. What are they building on the corner of Maryville Road and 93rd? It's kind of like Crown Point-ish. I think the property might actually be in the town of Maryville. And it's got big golden domes on the top of it. It looks like something out of St. Petersburg, Russia. You guys know what that is?
Surprise, it's Kremlin, too. No, I don't know what it is. I don't make it that way too often. But for the thousands of people who are listening right now, if you know what's going on at Maryville Road and 93rd and Crown Point, Maryville, what's going up with the big golden domes, give us a call, 219.
I mean, yeah, well, I mean, it is. It's definitely, it looks something like a church or something, but what kind of church and what, what is it? What kind of church is it? Obviously, some kind of church.
We'll see. Maybe
the Googles are just as perplexed as you are. So yeah, we'll throw it out there and we'll see what comes back. I've not been out that way.
All right, I'm gonna listen and
okay.
I'm gonna listen and see if someone knows.
Fantastic. Got any more calls? We good? Okay, let's chat for a while. We're not. What?
I don't know. They're
building something.
Yeah, they're building
something. Somebody
something.
will check in.
There's a handful of churches in that area.
So I asked you what we were going to talk about today because you texted me late last night. You're like, hey,
you want to hop
come
on?
in? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I got a shirt for that. So here we are. This has sort of become, I guess, for a lot of people, maybe they're having the day off, you're taking a half day, whatever. It's sort of an unofficial holiday for a lot of people because the 4th is falling on a weekend. So a lot of folks may be sleeping in. You can tell by the traffic, not a lot of people going to work today. So plans for the weekend? For what's that joke? For some of you, this is your last day with all 10 fingers.
With all 10 fingers, yeah.
Which hopefully isn't the case. Party responsibly. I've been seeing a lot of people on Facebook. They're posting their fireworks hauls. So I think this is going to be a record year for Kaplan and all those guys because I see some of these people buying just truckloads and truckloads of fireworks, which means I'm probably not going to get any sleep tonight or tomorrow. But, I'll take some Ambiens or whatever.
Are you one of those guys that you do not like fireworks?
I don't mind. I can't. What you saw that meme about the taxes? I just can't pay taxes on fireworks. Somebody wants to give me some. No, you know what? I used to be a fireworks guy, and it's just like, man, of all the things I'm going to not spend my money on, it's fun just to look out the window and just like I was watching like 3 different shows yesterday out my window at the same time. We had our St. John last night. Cherville's was last night. Lots of vertical videos on Facebook with the fireworks, which is always fantastic. I watch them all.
Yeah. Be mindful. Rotate
your phone.
Rotate the phone,
and make sure it's out of focus and blurry. And that's my favorite video.
Clean the lens. So I went and bought some fireworks, and for me, if I go buy fireworks, I don't know that I've ever hit that $200 mark. I don't know. Just not
like
my
a mental thing.
It is. The guy in front of me, $1,300.
Right.
And based on the conversation, it was not his first time there.
Sure.
And that's cool. People like to do that. And
yeah, I mean, like I said, it's something. It's if one guy in the neighborhood's doing it, and as long as you clean up after yourself, then everybody gets to see the show and everybody has a good time. And like I said, don't blow off a finger. Don't look down the barrel of a firework that doesn't go off. Have a bucket of water nearby. Maybe stop by, grab a fire extinguisher from the hardware store today.
Oh, you could do that.
Not a bad idea.
Ace or Menards, or I don't think we have a hardware store that advertises with us.
No.
So I'm free to say the Home Depots, the Lowe's. So speaking of freedom type things, you had mentioned it. I don't want to wait to save it for later. The warmth of collectivism.
Yeah, this has been a very interesting thing to see. Obviously, so Europe in the middle of a heat wave, and the main difference between Europe and the United States is that they traditionally don't have air conditioners, which, again, blame us all you want. Shout out to what's his name, Carrier, for inventing the air conditioner. Good American guy. But this was interesting to see France blaming the United States for their heat wave.
Yes. That was the first one. That's even before you get these Democrats on the East Coast telling you to set your thermostat to 78 degrees.
Yeah. Okay.
Which we've done here at the WJOB studios.
So here, I want to get into this, and I want to see if I'm missing something here. So this is an interesting thing, and again, I try to understand everybody else's beliefs, even when it's flat out wrong. No offense, but earlier this week we were talking about basically the progression of dumbass ideas and how they pervade society. And then you kind of get to a point where it doesn't matter left or right. I mean, it just, when a dumbass idea is a dumbass idea, and we need to be better at just calling them out. Go, no. I mean, be the adult in the room. No, it's a dumbass idea. No. Closing Ridge Road, dumbass idea. Sorry. But in Europe, they've decided that you're not allowed. I mean, they're basically have decided that they can't have air conditioning because the air conditioning will kill future people because of climate change. So because they don't want to kill future people, they are going without air conditioning. In England, there's like committees that tell you, like, there was a guy who had 2 air conditioners in his house. Like, no, you can't do that. Man. And roughly 1,000 more people have died during the record heat wave just in France. And the mayor of Paris says that U.S. bears part of the blame. So the deputy, not even a real mayor, the deputy mayor.
The French are surrendering to heat now.
Right. She's criticizing the United States for having sufficient air conditioning, saying they don't seem to grasp those cooling devices are part of the reason temperatures are escalating globally. So, I mean, again, imagine this idea that you tell your constituents, hey, you can't have air conditioning because you're going to kill future people, and in the process, you kill present people, right? I mean, and again, and we're seeing this. So you were talking about Mom Donnie came out and said, hey, and again, we have here in the United States, we have a grid that's very tenuous. It's ancient. It needs to be upgraded, but instead, more bike trails, because that's what we do. Hey, let's not upgrade the grid. Let's not rebuild the water pipes. Let's build a bike trail and have a ribbon cutting. And so we have a grid that's very tenuous. It can't handle the ups and downs. And so during heat waves, they tell you, hey, cut back. And so in New York, for instance, Mom Donnie came out and said, hey, cut it down, cut it to 78. There are a lot of people that talk about the conspiracy of sort of the smart grid. And I know if anybody remembers, I don't know if they still do this, like NIPSCO was putting devices that would essentially cycle the compressor on your air conditioning so that they could basically, in times of high energy usage, they can throttle back your compressors. There's a lot of people, like when the Nests first came out, there are states like California, for instance, that said, hey, we want to control your thermostat. And this goes back to, again, we talked over the winter about there are cities and states that are trying to take out the furnace, trying to take out the natural gas stoves. And you can say it's a conspiracy all you want, but there are people that want to do it. And it's only a conspiracy until somebody finally comes out and said, yeah, that's exactly what we want to do.
Well, and the smart grid, I won't say that whether it's the Nest or any of those things, but the smart grid is also designed to shift power. That's what it's designed to do. And so if instead of rolling brownouts, where it just happens, they can control it.
But the baffling thing was, and we talked about this years ago, these are the same people that were insisting you buy an electric car. And those of us that have any sort of background in engineering go, hey, if a whole bunch of people come home at like 5 or 6 o'clock every night and plug in their electric cars, guess what? You're going to blow up your grid.
Yes.
We've gone from, most people's consumption have like doubled in the last 50 years or whatever it is. We, obviously everybody now has, big screens, air conditioners, all these things that we didn't have generations ago. But now you want to add this massive appliance of an electric vehicle to the equation, you're going to blow up your grid. I mean, and that was the question. I'm like, look, debate the merits of electric cars all you want. The grid, not ready for it. I mean, even you saw that in California. You had wildfires. They're shutting down the power to prevent wildfires, and people are trying to escape the wildfires. And you've got people waiting, 10, 12 hours to charge their Tesla to get away from the wildfires. It's like, look, you have a system in place. Is it the greatest? Is it perfect? No. But you can't kill people in the process. And that's the problem, is a lot of these dumbass ideas kill people today because they're afraid of killing people tomorrow.
Future people.
Yeah, you're like, I'm going to save the future people by killing people today.
Yeah.
And again, dumbass idea. Instead of telling people what they can and can't do, why don't you find solutions? And we've done a great job here. I see solar farms going up all over the area. I go down to Indiana Beach. I see the windmills not turning every time I'm down there. Like, focus on that. Focus on solutions. And, we need to upgrade the grid. And telling people no, you can't do something isn't going to solve the problem. Telling people no, you're just going to create a black market for air conditioners. I'm going to be out the back of a van selling air conditioners. You know what I mean? When that says hey man, I'm going to have like a little picture of one in a trench coat. Like, hey man, you need a need a 10,000 BTU.
Yeah.
I got the 10,000s. I got the 20,000s. Let's take a break. We'll be back with more warmth of collectivism talk here on WJB.
For over 100 years, Roofers Local 26 has been keeping Northwest Indiana dry and safe. Since 1919, our highly trained members have built a reputation for skills, safety, and reliability. With a 4-year apprenticeship and certifications in OSHA safety, first aid, and CPR, we deliver quality you can trust. When you need roofing done right, choose Roofers Local 26, protecting what matters most for over a century. For more information, visit www.roofers26.com.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, powers health.
When your home needs help, the last thing you need is a faceless corporation or sales-driven franchise. At Myers Companies, we've been proudly local since 1951, born and raised right here in Northwest Indiana. We're family-owned and operated, built on trust, hard work, and integrity. And because we're family, we treat you like family. Your comfort and safety always come first. For HVAC, plumbing, and electrical done right, choose Myers Companies. Local, family-owned, here for your family.
Ogren Insurance, Hammond's oldest family-owned independent insurance agency, now in its 3rd generation, providing clients in the Chicago area with products from quality insurance companies to handle your every need. Regardless of driving history, Ogren Insurance can find the right coverage for you at competitive prices. To learn more about the insurance solutions and services we offer throughout Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or visit our website, ogreninsurance.com. We're located at 6929 Homan Avenue in Hammond, Indiana. Do business locally with someone you know and trust.
Welcome back to Friday with Bob and Chuck. We don't have a fancy name for it today. It's a semi-quincentennial Eve.
That's a good name for it.
Which is exciting for all of those who support freedom and thermostats under 78 degrees. Quick look at traffic and weather. Traffic's still fine. No issues with that. It's a federal holiday, state holiday, municipal holiday. Nobody's driving anywhere. Everything's fine. How's the weather?
It's hot and humid.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that.
Easy breezy.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
How's the weekend looking? We got any rain in the forecast?
We have rain every day this week now.
Fantastic.
Speaking of Captain Dark Cloud over there.
It's going to rain.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
But it'll keep you from burning down the neighborhood.
Saturday is getting shifty with a stray shower or thunderstorm. So maybe it'll all work out for the firework folks.
Shoot your fireworks off indoors. It might rain outdoor.
It might rain.
Not financial advice. Let's take a call. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Good morning, boys.
Good morning, sir.
What's a good word?
Chuck, you mentioned Mamdani.
Yes, I did. What a hero he is.
That's Sharia law. That's Sharia law. You see that public caning that occurred?
I missed that. Who was it? Was it Caitlin Clark?
Public caning in Indonesia because they were kissing.
Uh-oh.
So that's where we're headed. So
okay,
if Adriana's listening, put that hijab back up and let's get going.
I was watching a video by Nate Friedman yesterday about Patterson, New Jersey. There are, obviously there are Muslim, there are basically, we'll call it Arabic enclaves, Dearborn, New Jersey, Minnesota. And so, I guess this becomes a question. It was interesting because he said, here's this community. It's Muslim. It's, Arabic. Everybody speaks Arabic. And then one town over, everybody's flying American flags and whatever. So, the real question that I have is this something that, is this going to work out in the long run?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Is there...
Wow, Bob. Wow. Way to be negative about Sharia law and Islam.
But again, is this, I was watching last night before bed. I love, catching up on my mafia stories. I was watching, a documentary about the 5 families. And again, Italians. We had Italian enclaves, Polish enclaves, et cetera, New York and Chicago, even here in the region. We had enclaves. But people also were able to put their allegiances to their former home country aside and say, hey, we're here now. Again, my mother came here as a child from Italy, and they said, we're going to speak English in this house, and everybody learned to speak English.
Did they assimilate to the culture to where they moved?
They did. And okay, but so this becomes the question is if a group of people want to keep that piece of their former country. What is the plan here? Like, again, how does this end long term? When you have, the call to prayer on loudspeakers in the entire community, it's like one of those things. How does this end? And again, I'm trying to be, open-minded here to the idea of people come from different places and they have different beliefs and cultures. How does that mesh with sort of just the fabric of the United States? What is the long term here? Go ahead, sir.
So help me with this. Why did they come here?
Oh, that seems
Why
to be the
did
question.
they come here? Starkey, help me. You're smart.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
For a better way of life.
So is that always the case, though? That's sort of the assumption that we make is that everybody comes here for the better life. But I'm hearing more and more interviews with people that are basically saying, hey, I'm coming here because you guys have wealth and we don't. So it's the smart move to come to the United States. I have no plans to assimilate.
We have wealth.
Right.
And this goes along with the whining at the end of yesterday's show about, there are no jobs. We have to work. Hey, when you two idiots walked out of Lake Central High School, did you go right to CEO positions? Or did you bust your humps?
Well, to be fair, I started my own company, so yes, I did.
I was going to say, Chuck's the one here that, I guess technically.
Yeah, I had my own business, so yes, technically.
But to your point, you're right. To your point, you're right. Chuck's the anomaly here. But no, I find myself disagreeable more and more with folks who don't want to assimilate. And I say that because I don't want to say what's fair is fair, but if I'm going to move anywhere else, there is an expectation. One, it'd be surprising if you could move somewhere else. Here, we just tend to let everybody in. I'm less and less agreeable with hyphenated Americans. You're an American. You assimilate. And that's what that version of the melting pot is what makes us great. Not this, hey, now we have these enclaves of cultures that just are not necessarily compatible with Western civilization. And
there was an interesting statistic that came out with, you mentioned Mamdani, where basically New Yorkers that were born in New York tended to vote for Cuomo, and people that weren't born in New York, that weren't native citizens, native born, voted for Mamdani. So you end up in the situation where when you lose that balance, when you lose that balance of people that are from here or born here, regardless of what color they are, what religion, whatever, you have this idea.
If you're from here, you want it to stay here,
right?
And I don't know why that's all of a sudden bad to even say that.
Well, and that's the interesting thing about when people attack conservatives. I'm like, look, I just want everything to stay the way it is. And if you want to join the party, join the party. But this is how, again, going back to like even Munster, like dumbass ideas. Like, hey, Munster's fine. We don't have to break Ridge Road. We don't have to do this. We don't like stop with the dumbass ideas. Focus on infrastructure, and that's it. Like that again. If that's evil conservatism, if that's I'm an evil libertarian conservative. So like, hey. Keep the water flowing, fix the roads, and leave everything alone. Like, that's the plan.
Well, if you don't want to assimilate, I've got news for you. Pound sand, head back to your goat rope country where you might have electricity twice a day, where your children bathe downstream from where the cows are crapping upstream, where later the meat is hanging open in public covered by flies. Go back. It's that simple. If I may, the Jonathan Peterson, your neighbor to the north, Bob Starkey.
Yes.
Did you hear that interview?
I did not. That was on Dabberton Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, I watched it.
It's on my list of things.
I did watch it.
Chuck, would you agree with me that Mr. Peterson had his points?
He had his points, and like I said, we were talking about this last night. One of my interesting takeaways about that discussion was the idea of you have such a small pool of people that are involved in politics and regulation and basically consulting and things like that, that you have such a small pool here in Lake County that you're constantly in a cycle of conflict. And that was a whole discussion they had about conflict of interest and, this guy, that guy, because again, you have such a small pool of people and everybody knows each other. And my joke is the Lake County political family tree doesn't fork. So again, it became an interesting discussion about conflicts of interest. And I mean, basically everybody involved has a conflict of interest because they presently, previously, or in the future, they will represent other people on the other side of the issues, right? So I mean, it becomes this interesting discussion about conflicts of interest in the region. But go ahead.
Would you think that let me find my words here.
Yeah,
Mr. Westland.
Right.
With the appearance of impropriety, with him not stating to the Munster Town Council, I have connections with this person who works for this city, and I have connections with this person, and this other client of mine is such and such.
Okay,
but if he didn't do that,
no, I get
and
that.
Jonathan Peterson had to dig for that information, that sounds a little shady to me, boys.
But here's the point I was making, though, is that everybody involved here in the region, it's a small
There's like
group
four
of people.
municipal attorneys for
Right.
750,000 people.
If you had to disclose, that was my point, was if you had to disclose all of the potential conflicts, that would be half your meeting. Was like, okay, now our attorney has to disclose all of his previous clients because, again, that's the problem, is you have this small group of people and everybody knows each other, everybody goes golf, and everybody goes to the same dinners. So it's a constant cycle of conflict of interest, and we really don't have a watchdog. I think he said they reached out to outside counsel and they had an outside opinion. Well, you'd have to do that for every single decision because we have such a small, tight-knit group of people on all the same boards, going to all the same dinners. You know what I mean? Like it's just such a, I can't say a circle here in the region of conflict of interest. It's a never-ending cycle, and maybe that's part of the problem.
And to that point, I really meant it when I said there might be 4 municipal attorneys in the entire county, maybe 5. If you pick a 6th one, pound sand. I'm making a point here that there are 18 municipalities here. There's 4 attorneys. Half are run by Republicans, half are run by Democrats, and yes, there's
Bob,
going to be
who
some.
Does Dyer have?
So we have 2. We have Adam Cedia and John Reed.
Are they Republican in nature, Bob?
I would say so. But then I've also got so here's an example. So Adam Cedia is one of our municipal attorneys. He's also the municipal attorney for St. John Township. Occasionally we have dealings with them because we're in their township. John Reed is our attorney. He's also the Highland attorney. And he was formerly on the Munster Council.
Right. So you have
Westland and Bennett, who I don't know them aside from my understanding was that the Indiana Bar Group, whatever, just named them the municipal attorneys for the year, so they are probably pretty good for the state. But I think they're down.
Lawyers.
I think they're down in Lowell. I think
good.
they're in Munster. Well, not Munster now because they told them to pound sand. But so yeah, the problem is there's only a few. So kids out there getting a municipal law.
It's a fun time.
It's a lot of fun.
Blast.
So are those the same attorneys in general, gentlemen? Are those the same attorneys that said that Griffith attorney was the attorney of the year, the one that tried to compromise the young lady and said he wanted to be her sugar daddy?
Have you followed that
while
story,
he was
Bob?
married? And
No,
Yeah.
I have not.
But hey, Bob, maybe you could look at that while Chuck's talking, and I think he was the attorney of the year. So trusting an attorney on an opinion, woo, attorney of the year.
Yeah.
While he tried to seduce a 17, soon to be 18-year-old in his defense.
I think she was 15 when they met.
And wanted to be her sugar daddy.
I
No comment,
actually
boys?
I actually don't
No,
feel
I'll-
bad
I'll-
that I don't follow the news. Who wants to hear that?
I'll send you that story over the break. But again, it's a never-ending cycle of conflict of interest. But how do we manage that otherwise? I mean, again, what do you do? You
Still retained as a Griffith attorney after he did that, I believe.
Well, we can pull up the article over the break and go over that. But yeah, no, again, so that becomes the question. Again, the greater question of conflict and how do you avoid that, or how do you mediate that? Do you want to create another layer of government to decide if there's conflicts of interest? Because again, then who are you going to put on that board? Then they'll be compromised. I mean, again, that's the question: is you have a never-ending conflict of interest, and it's unfortunate, but it is the way it is. So. That's where I think the elected officials come in, and they have a responsibility of due diligence to say, hey, in this case, maybe we should get different counsel because whatever reason. So,
hey, boys, before you cut me off,
yeah,
happy 4th of July, greatest country in the world
ever.
God bless America.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. You want to take another? We got another call. We got 2 more calls. Okay, let's take a call. Okay, let's do that.
Take a break.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Chuck. Good morning, Bob. I just wanted to call in and talk to you about your comments earlier about the grid, and I have a unique take on this.
Okay.
You know that the state right now is actually contemplating plug-in solar. Are you familiar with that?
So let's do this. Let's back up a little bit and kind of remind people about sort of the history of solar and the state of Indiana, because I think this is interesting, and you know about this, Mont, sort of like what happened a few years ago with selling back to the grid and things like that.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
So just help me out on this. So basically, if you invest in solar, it's a lot of times it could be a big upfront expense. There's a lot of maintenance. You got to maintain batteries, and we talk about the usable life of solar. But
so that's the full-blown. That's the full-blown solar installation. That's not what I'm talking about.
Go ahead. Yeah.
There is a movement right now. It's legal in I want to say 6 states, Utah, a couple other states that have legalized this, and it's basically as simple as a 6th grade science experiment. You get a couple of $100 solar panels, a converter, and then you can plug it directly into a standard outlet, and it will actually feed into your house system and reduce your bill, reduce your draw on the power grid, especially during summer months now where the ACs are running constantly. Guess who's trying to block that from passing in the state of Indiana and other states?
So you're talking, well, specifically what's called net metering, though. So I'm pulling it up now because I remember it was a few years ago now, but we basically phased out net metering, which is the idea where, okay, so putting it simply, I'm at work during the day, my solar panels are generating electricity, and I'm feeding back into the grid because nobody's home to use the electricity. We've basically phased that out. There was a time that you could feed back into the grid, but also this becomes an interesting discussion, Mont. I was actually literally having this argument with somebody last night about it is essentially illegal to get off the grid. There are people like, just get off the grid. I go, that's illegal. There was a story of a woman in Florida who said, I'm going to get off the grid. I'm going to generate my own electricity. I'm going to collect my own rainwater. And a judge said, no, you're not allowed to go off grid. It is illegal for you to go off grid. As George Costanza would say, we're part of a society and you can't do that. So even this idea of me saying, and one of the points I always made, Mont, is I said, even if I had that inclination to go off the grid, because of present zoning laws, I can't exactly erect like a 30-foot windmill in my backyard or anything like that. Bill Maher had a great thing, if you've ever seen it. He had this years-long saga of trying to get solar on his own property and the hoops he had to jump through with the state of California and Los Angeles, et cetera. Because again, so here's somebody who wants to do something good. He's like, I want to cut back my carbon footprint. I want to install solar. And it was one of the biggest hassles he ever had to go through. So again, it's like one of those things, I would love, I have a spot, I have an amazing amount of wind in my backyard. I would love to throw up a windmill, but I don't think zoning would let me do that.
Mont, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Because I don't know the answer when you said, guess who's trying to stop that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it one company or is it one of their just consortium of?
It's all the utilities.
Yeah.
It's all the electric utilities are opposed to this, and they frame it in the fact that it's dangerous and all this stuff, but it comes down to, and everyone in this debate will tell you, it can impact their revenue stream. They're protecting their monopoly, and just so you know, like plug-in solar or what people call balcony solar, these are things you can buy off of Amazon right now. You could install it today. It would start eliminating the electric needs for your house first before it would go into the grid. And I don't even think you would generate enough to really go into the grid. It would take care of like all your running appliances, your refrigerator, all that kind of stuff. Because we're not talking about a great deal, but it could actually offset 5 to 20% of current electric requirements right now. If these were all passed legally and people could like install these things. We're not talking about like a big solar panel on the roof thing. We're talking about 3, panels you put outside in your backyard or install above your AC to keep it cool and run the AC. And yeah, NIPSCO and all the other utilities are opposing this because it's going to affect their revenues.
Right.
And if we're talking about some commie like Mondami, telling me that I can't set my air conditioner at 68, which is set at 68 right now, and they're not going to let us do this. Like, what is? I just know that this is just a made-up issue. Like, they want to just control our air conditioning. They just want to control our temperatures and stuff like that. But that's just me, an old man ranting, I guess.
No. As soon as I saw that article, I did put my thermostat down to 68 degrees, just in solidarity with other fat guys like me.
And I have my windows open.
Oh, yeah.
And I turned my furnace on.
And I have my windows open.
There's a good breeze this morning. Yeah.
And I have a fire in the wood burner.
Nice.
And I'm baking.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, hey, appreciate the call, Mont. Again, good discussion.
Also, last thing, Chuck, if you haven't seen it yet, and I'm just all your listeners, like, if you haven't seen it yet, you're going to get triggered. There's a new ACLU ad that's running right now. Have you seen it yet? Have you seen it?
No.
I think
it's based on the Supreme Court, the 14th Amendment Supreme Court decision.
I can't imagine. Give us the cliff notes.
Oh, you'll love it. You'll love it. You guys got to find it during the break and share it with the audience. You're going to love it. With that,
I can't
happy
imagine.
4th of July, gentlemen.
Appreciate the call. Let's take a break, and we'll be back with more after this.
Crazy Kaplan's Fireworks.
Hi, I'm Greg Kaplan. Most of you know me as Crazy Kaplan. I started in the basement of my house with the vision of someday running my own fireworks business. Crazy Kaplan's Fireworks prides itself on taking care of you, the customer. Our largest fireworks store is located at Exit 5, Klein, and 8094 in Hammond. These showrooms right now are jam-packed. Because we import and buy volume, we can offer fireworks a huge savings and pass it on to the customer. Our selection will blow you away. As the saying goes, stack them deep, sell them cheap. Just like Papa Sam used to say, make the customer happy. The best selection of rockets, mortar shells, aerials, firecrackers, fountains, and family assortments. Come see us at Crazy Kaplan's Fireworks. We promise to make you our next #1 customer.
Crazy Kaplan's Fireworks.
Need clean energy without the junk? I'm Jim Deedlow. I used to live on burgers, football, basketball, baseball. Now I'm gluten-free and more into biking, golf, and yoga. But I still need energy. That's why I love Paradise, developed by Emily D. Edwards right here in Cherville. My favorite is Paradise Packs Strawberry with gluten-free pretzels. Find it soon at Strachan Van Til or at spreadparadise.com.
Fox Point bursts with free concerts throughout July. Our Wednesday night concert series features Hairbangers Ball, Hello Weekend, All American Throwbacks, and Keith Jackson and the Triple Dose Band. Enjoy the Northwest Indiana Symphony Orchestra on Friday, July 17th, and come back for Marrakesh Express and Echoes of Pompeii on Friday, July 31st. Fox Point in Lansing, Illinois is just minutes from I-8094 and parking is free. Visit foxpoint.org for our full schedule. That's point with an E, foxpoint.org.
Welcome back. You're listening to Bob and Chuck and Lynette here on the airwaves, on the YouTubes, and we're talking air conditioning, the semi-quincentennial eve. Be sure to leave your cowboy hat and cans of Bud Light out for Kid Rock tonight as he...
Let's do this, Lynette, real quick. Take a note of who's on the phones right now, okay? Not them, since they're already on the line. The first person that calls in and tells me how many years Indiana Beach has been in existence, you will get a family 4-pack to Indiana Beach to use at your leisure. How about that? 219-845-1100. The first person that can tell me what anniversary, how many years has Indiana Beach been around, you will get a family 4-pack to Indiana Beach. Somebody asked for one. I'm like, like Santa Kid Rock. You want Indiana Beach tickets? I got you. You get tickets.
That's
you get tickets.
Fantastic. Look at this.
I'll give it away.
On semi-quincentennial eve.
Okay, I'm feeling generous. Let's take some calls, though. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
I have no idea how long it's been around. It was around when I was an undergraduate at Purdue back in the early mid-'60s.
I'll give them a hint, Walt. It's older. It's older than you, Walt. So we'll give them a hint. How about
really?
That? It is.
Whoa.
Whoa. No offense to Walt, but it's older than you, Walt. So how are you this morning, sir?
Well, fine, and it's Indiana Beach is a wonderful family venue, especially if you have children, and if they're a little bit on the youngish side, they just love it. I mean, it's the beach, it's the rides and other stuff. It's wooded, and my kids loved it so much that they wanted to. They asked if they could stay at a cottage or something like that. So I accommodated them, and they loved it even more. But,
cottages, camping, hotels.
Spot.
I mean, all kinds of places to stay, depending on your level of glamping and whatnot. But yeah, I'll stick with the air-conditioned hotel. Yeah, what's on your mind this morning, Walt?
Well, because of America 250, the History Channel and Story Channel have both been carrying a lot of stuff with respect to American history. And one of the things that I noted was that when George Washington was president, he was trying to deal with the fact that the Republic had all these debts and so forth, and no way to pay it. And another thing was he was concerned about being able to defend the Republic Any case, in his efforts to do that, and by the way, he did not want to be president of the United States. He didn't want to be. He hated it. And when he left after 8 years, he was delighted to go back to his farm. But in any case, one of his attackers, some of the people who attacked him, argued that he wanted to be a king. Now, what does that sound like?
Right.
Democrats push that line. Now they don't mind communist commissars, but it just goes to show you that there's nothing new under the sun. When you want to be stupid, you can make claims like that, especially with George Washington, who, if it wasn't for Washington as head of the colonial army, such as it was, because it rose and fell, but his prestige kept it together in the field. But he was accused of wanting to be a king, which really disgusted him. I mean,
he's like, I don't even want the job, and you're calling me the king. Like, I don't even want to do this. He's the first guy who's like, I want to be in charge and leave you alone. He's like, I just want to go back to my farm. I just, I want to keep. Again, that the foundation of this country is like, hey, keep the taxes low, keep foreign enemies out, and let me, run my farm the way I want to run it. Like, how hard is? Here, I'm gonna open up my. You can't see this. I know you're on YouTube, Walt, but I mean, even my shirt today. Everybody's like, oh, he's opening his shirt.
Uh-oh.
My shirt is one of the favorite libertarian stances, which is I want my gay married couples to be able to, what does that say?
Protect their marijuana
with guns. I mean, again, the founding principles. Marry who you want, smoke what you want, and have guns to protect yourself. But, well, I mean, it's interesting even going back to this idea that the founding fathers had this philosophy of like, hey, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go, we're going to pass some laws, and I'm going back to the farm, and I really don't even want this job. I mean, a lot of those guys in the early days were, they were farmers. Somebody basically talked them into it.
They were drafted by the community.
They were basically drafted by their community. Like, hey, you're smart. You know stuff. Go be our congressman. And then they went and did it, and they came home, and they ran their farm. And there was no enrichment. I was watching something on the way in. I mean, again, this idea that the Nancy Pelosi's of the world worth hundreds of millions of dollars and nobody bats an eye for years. And then when Trump starts trading in the White House, like, oh, you can't do that. Like, no, they've been doing that forever. You didn't care. You didn't care until now. And so now all of a sudden it's a problem. And look, again, I'm not excusing it, but this idea that you let this go unchecked, you let them have unbridled power, you let them insider trade, you let them do what they want, and now you're outraged. It's like, you're about 20 years too late. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's insider trading. Have fun.
Well, at one time I was an independent conservative when I lived in Illinois, and I basically supported the most conservative candidate. And given Illinois politics, there were times that the Democrat was the most conservative,
right,
compared to the Republican. But in any case, one thing I developed was I went to many events, some by the Democrats, some on the Republicans, talked to a lot of people on both sides of the fence. One thing about the Democrats is the early standard of people coming to serve in government and then go back to their real life. Democrats have nothing but respect for people who make their whole lives out of politics. Look at Mr. Wisłowski and other congressmen that we've had. It's been generational. It's like a family business. Republicans are different. I mean, they really like candidates that have experience in things other than politics and government, whether it be as a businessman, a military man, a professional man, something that you've shown the ability to function in the private sector. And I would say that's a major difference between Republicans and Democrats.
I've always said one of the reasons why, let's take a look at Lake County and the Democrat machine, why that runs so well, because that's their life. That is what they're just driven to, that 24/7 political machine where, okay, and I guess we could find some Republican to argue about, but my hope is that the Republican idea is, okay, great, you ran, you got elected. Now, like Chuck said, you do your thing and you go back to your life. And when the election comes up again, then you ramp back up and, you go and, state what your platform is. You get elected, you do your thing, and then you go back home, where the Democrat machine is just 24/7 politics. And so, to your point, right. You're right. They like that. They find value in, oh, this person's been elected for 35 years. They must know exactly what they're doing, while also at the same time not being responsible for any of the bad things that have happened in the last 35 years. Like all things Democrat, they just haven't done enough of it yet.
Well, Walt, I wanted to ask you a question, because I was watching something last night. I was watching a debate. Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks, he calls himself a democratic capitalist. They were having a discussion about this new generation of basically the democratic socialists, the DSA. They're winning primaries in New York and places like that. So in major cities, the DSA is starting to slowly take power from traditional Democrats. And so, like, here in the region, your Democrat, Republican, blue collar guy, union, whatever, they were talking about, are these DSA candidates basically antithetical to the United States, to the Constitution? Some of their policies are, some of them in their policies talk about destroying Western civilization and basically saying, the traditional way of doing things is dead. We want to blow it up and do something different. What does the outcome look like when you have sort of traditional, as the mayor would say, left of center Democrats, and then you have these DSA candidates that want, they're far left, they have radical policies. And so, I mean, and a lot of it, like with Cenk Uygur, it became a debate about Israel and Zionism and all these things. But I mean, I see this huge divide in the Democratic Party, and how does it resolve itself when you have sort of traditional Democrats and then you have these DSA people? I mean, I see this being a huge rift in the party, and I'm really going to be curious to see how it resolves itself.
I don't know, and I don't care, because
not my problem.
They're going to do what they're going to do.
Right.
And one thing, as a Republican precinct captain in Illinois and then a precinct worker in Indiana, and I elected delegate to the Republican convention twice, you could put up a retarded monkey on the Democrat side, and they would. There's a very, I'd say, a majority element that would vote for that retarded monkey no matter what. And it's not just ignorant, uneducated people. I heard the loyalty to the Democrat cause. I remember an acquaintance of mine was a Democrat lady. She was liberal on social issues, but fairly conservative when it came to financial issues. I got to know each other well enough that at one point she said to me, if the Republicans put up a candidate that stood for everything that I like, and the Democrat candidate was opposed to everything I like, I'd still feel obliged to vote Democrat. Duh.
Well, and that was the interesting discussion with Cenk Uygur, was this idea that, like, hey, I know she wants to destroy Western civilization, but hey, Medicare for all, like rent control. So, I mean, again, and people often tell me, like, why do you care what's happening in New York? And I use the example of Chicago. I say, look, Chicago and greater Illinois' policies directly impact Bob's community and my community with our growth, with sure. All of the things that we are running into, whether you talk about traffic or growth or whatever, even crime, comes back to in the policies of Chicago and Illinois. So we have a direct impact. Right. And just like my wife right now is in New Jersey and Connecticut and all those places are directly impacted by New York. But not only that, when you talk about New York City as a whole, it is the economic driver of this country. It is the home of Wall Street, is the home of capitalism in this country. And now you've got somebody like Mamdani and these DSA people winning elections. It's going to have long-term consequences. And we all, hey, great, rent control. It doesn't work. We know that. that doesn't affect me. But the greater policies that they're trying to enact will have long-term consequences. And I talked about how he's neglecting infrastructure. That's going to have long-term consequences. All these things are going to have long-term consequences while we're cheering, rent control and free childcare, everything free in quotation marks, because you don't understand what free means. That they're going to have lasting consequences. And the question is, will we rein that in before it gets too late? I don't know. That's my concern.
Well, one of my real concerns is the big money people in this country, including Republicans.
Right.
They will donate money to left-wing supposedly do-gooder operations, and they won't send a nickel to a conservative Republican cause. I mean, everything you say is true about this. The fact we have to live with what goes on in Chicago, but there's nothing we can do about it because the word Republican is a dirty word in Chicago. There isn't a single councilman in Chicago that is a Republican. And at one time they had a couple, not anymore, and that's just the way it is. And maybe we could build a wall along the.
Don't give Bob ideas.
Yeah, I've got about 3 miles of border on Illinois. We can start that.
Maybe we could start putting up checkpoints so that they have to show their not only their driver's license, they got to show their proof that they're American citizens, type thing. But other than that, it is just dealing with that crowd is just hopeless. I mean, I worked in Chicago for 40 years, and this goes back about 20 years ago when all of a sudden the Democrats took control of all the levers of power in Springfield. Before that, the Senate was run by the Republicans, and the House was run by the Democrats, and the governorship was passed off back and forth. And in any case, all of a sudden, the Democrats swept the table. And one of my coworkers was a big Democrat, and she was good, dancing in the aisles. How wonderful this is going to be. And I said to her, you understand now that the Democrats from the Chicago area dominate the state government, that they're going to impose all the crap and all the fighting and squabbling that goes on here in Cook County on the whole state. 6 months later, she was very unhappy with the results because.
I was going to ask, well, how long until she moved to Indiana? 2 years later.
But I said to her, you remember I reminded you as to the consequences of putting Illinois state government in the hands of Chicago area Democrats? Oh my goodness, was she offended? How dare you talk about that? You're not even from, you don't even live in Illinois. I say, I pay taxes here. How about that?
Right. Well, hey.
They're idiots.
We got to take a break, Walt. We got to get to a break, but happy, what is it? The
semi-quincentennial.
Semi-quincentennial. Glad you're here for that. Well, I'm sure you were around in '76 for the bicentennial. How does this compare? I mean, when I look at pictures, it seemed like everything was painted red, white, and blue. Everybody was partying in the streets. It seems like we're not having as much fun this time. Let me besides you.
I'm having a good time.
Well, I think the sense of divisiveness is you, as a student history, seeing what the years that preceded the Civil War. There's that kind of element in American life today.
Right. Yeah.
And it wasn't that in '76. It was not that bad. But now it's like open warfare kind of thing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You're right. I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, even watching the 250 fair and things like that, there's really not a lot. There's not a lot of people showing up, and there's a lot of divide. And half this country is being told it's a disaster and things like that. It's an unfortunate thing. When you're right, we should be able to just turn all this off for a month and just enjoy this country. But we can't do that. I mean, on either side. So, hey, Walt, appreciate it. Enjoy the weekend. We got to take a break. It's 7:03 in the region. You're listening to AM 1230, 104.7 FM in beautiful Hammond, Indiana. We'll be right back.
The best just got better. Tech Credit Union is proud to celebrate being recognized with Best of the Region, Best CEO, and Best Banker. To celebrate, we're offering 3 special CD offers with rates up to 4.5% APY for a limited time. Visit techcu.org or stop by your nearest Tech Credit Union branch or call 800-276-8324 to learn more. Tech Credit Union, the better option for people and communities we serve. Member NCUA. Minimum deposit required. Offer subject to change. Visit techcu.org for complete details. Head on over to St. George Greek Orthodox Church in Cherville for Greek Fest 2026 on July 16th through 19th. Come and enjoy the Greek experience with delicious foods like lamb, shish kebab, Greek chicken, spanakopita, and many desserts, including our delicious lurkamades. Check out our drive-thru options. We offer free admission, music, dancing, and a $14,000 raffle. Located at 528 West 77th Avenue in Cherville. For more information, contact the church office at 219-322-6165.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
I'm a victim of being ran over by a semi while I was flagging. The person wasn't paying attention and they hit me with their vehicle.
I seen a accident where we were the first people to walk up, and that picture will never leave my mind.
I've seen people get hit before. It's been horrible.
Construction zones on roadways and bridges are more than just cones and equipment. They're the workplace for thousands of dedicated union laborers.
Everybody has a family that they need to get back home to, so please just pay attention to us out here while we're working.
We all have family, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but we're trying to make the roads better for y'all.
We're doing this for everyone.
We're hardworking Hoosiers, just like you, and we all want to make it home safely.
People would just take a couple seconds to pay attention.
Be aware of where we're at, where the cone zones are at. We're all in this together, and we're all just trying to be safe.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
I can do traffic.
Do the thing.
Do the thing. Hey, so I'm looking at the greens and the yellows and the reds on the traffic thing, and I tell you what, everything's green. That's all I got. I know Jed wants me to do better with traffic, but everything is fine. Nothing's going on. It's a holiday.
Yeah, I would say just plan on a lot of people leaving Illinois early to get to Michigan, so plan on heavy traffic. I ran into some of that last night. Eastbound, if you're heading, coming from Illinois, if you're going east on the toll roads, Skyway, 8094, expect heavy traffic going eastbound today. If something happens on the highway, expect they're all going to funnel down to Ridge Road, but hopefully that doesn't happen. Luckily, it's still a 4-lane road.
Luckily, there's still
luckily, it's not a bike trail.
Lanes.
No dumbass ideas as of yet.
But the day is young.
The day is young. How's the weather?
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 72 degrees with highs of 89 and lows of 72. It's going to be humid this morning with a thunderstorm in spots, followed by a heavy thunderstorm this afternoon. And Saturday we'll be having highs of 87 and lows of 71 with periods of clouds and sun with a couple of heavy thunderstorms. Very humid. And Sunday we'll be having highs of 84 and lows of 66 with intervals of clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, and humid.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We're here till
8:30.
8:30. We're here till 8:30 today. I got asked to jump in, so here we are. I asked Bob this morning. I said, "What you got, Bob?" He said, "I got nothing."
I got nothing. Just freedom stuff.
Just rolling with it.
I did want to. I mean, we could talk about. I really wanted to talk about all good things American, but we just have half of the country doesn't like it, and I don't know why they're still here. We have the Great American State Fair going on because of the semi-quincentennial, and there was a handful of states that said we're not going to send any type of delegation. There was a section where each state was going to have a venue or a space to
basically to show off their state and show off what they do.
And it's all the states that you would imagine, all the whining, crying, liberal lefty states.
California, New Jersey,
Massachusetts,
Taxachusetts.
That's a good one. Oh, I've not heard the one. Connecticut,
It's like,
Rhode Island.
We'll have our own fair.
Yeah. And, okay, you know what? Fine. Then you don't show up. I say no federal dollars for you.
That's fine. No highway dollars for you.
Yeah, no highway dollars. Although, not that it would matter for Rhode Island. It's all like 7 miles anyways. But so there's a story. I'll just do this real quick because I found it. There was a woman in Massachusetts who Massachusetts said, hey, we're not going to do the Great American State Fair because, Trump bad. I don't know. And so this woman in Massachusetts, she paid her own way for the Massachusetts booth. And I thought, 250 years ago, that was a very Massachusetts thing to do. So,
Right.
So good on her.
Is she in jail yet? Did they arrest her on the way back?
They're going to find something. She threw out a gum wrapper 20 years ago, and it's on an ATM camera. And, yeah, something's going to happen to this lady. But good on her. So 219-845-1100.
Let's take some calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello. Are we on the same time zone? Anyway.
Are you in Hammond? Maybe.
I could be, yes. I have a tree down, and I just had my power restored. So
fantastic.
And it was not my tree or my power line. It was my bill. I just wanted to call about someone called in and said that there was retarded monkeys, which there is no such thing. Okay. And number 2, I want to win the trip to Vegas.
To Vegas? Bob, you giving away a trip to Vegas?
Yeah, you say Vegas.
Oh,
Someone's giving a trip away.
To Vegas.
I would love to go to Vegas.
Indiana. Okay, that's not the free trip. I must have the wrong number. But anyway, how about Indiana Beach?
How about that?
I have a family of 10.
Family
of 10.
Well, we can do 4.
Yeah. Well, I just couldn't say no.
How old is Indiana Beach?
100 years old.
100 years old. You win.
That.
Can you do this?
Almost my age.
That's what I told Walt. Not quite as old as Walt. What you're going to do is you're going to send me an email with your contact information. It's just my name at Gmail. So chuck.pullen, Pullen at Gmail. Send me an email. And what is your name, ma'am?
Okay, Chuck Pullen at where?
At Gmail.
I'm sorry.
Chuck.pullen at Gmail. And what is your name?
This is Laura.
Laura? Okay, send me an email,
I think
Laura.
we have talked before.
Absolutely. So you send me an email with your contact info, and I will get you 4 free tickets to Indiana Beach. That'll get you halfway.
Is it for 3 nights and 2 days?
No, it's for 1 day. It's for
I have to get out of this area right away before another storm hits.
No airfare
hard.
included. No, because you have to pay taxes on all that. If we give you all kinds of free stuff, you got to pay taxes. You don't do that. So we'll give you a family.
I don't.
So pick the 4 people in your family you tolerate the most, and go with you. And the 4 of you go. Tell them like you got whoever says the nicest things about you. Take the 4 of them. But again, inexpensive day.
Well,
it's not like going and having breakfast at Disney. It's a very inexpensive.
But do they have to be related to me?
No, I don't care who they are. I'm going to give you 4 tickets. You can give them you can pick up hitchhikers on the way.
They
there.
all have different babies.
They
all have different baby daddies. So okay.
Maybe
all right,
maybe
that
have them
sounds
pay
really
for
good.
their children. I mean, have them pay for their children, and then
Well,
you take
they're
care of-
not.
Well, yeah.
They don't have children either.
Oh.
I mean, they have children, but they're not my children. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, there's a math equation there.
We have cottages, and everybody, even if you're not related or if you don't know them or not the same baby, you can all stay in the same cottage.
I've had the taste for cottage cheese since you've brought that up. Thank you for that. And I've been wanting a bagel, but I'm not going to eat that in front of anybody like someone on the show does.
You know,
okay?
that's one of the things
But,
I've always looking for a good bagel around here. So if anybody has any thoughts about where to get a good, it's the one thing that New York does right is the bagels and sometimes the pizza. But that's the only thing. Okay, well, hey, so you win the tickets. Make sure you email me today, and I'll put you in touch with the right people, and you will get a family 4-pack to go to Indiana Beach with whoever's baby daddies you want to go with.
I don't know what to do. I'm going to go climb the tree in my backyard and sit with the squirrels and the birds. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds like just don't touch the power lines. Glad your power's back on.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah,
they're mine. I had to pay for them.
Yeah, they're hers, Chuck. Why not?
My
I
power
want to know
lines, I'm
why
touching them.
you're telling people they can't touch what they paid for.
That's
Speaking
right.
of Vegas.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey.
Send me an email. We got to get through some calls. So send me that email. You win a family 4-pack to Indiana Beach. Enjoy. Send us some pictures. Have a great time. Okay, so send an email. Next caller. You have another caller? No, we're good. Okay, so now you can talk about stuff. I love the region. It's fun times.
Oh.
I don't even know what happened. It was such a whirlwind. I hope they have a great time, whoever that was. I hope Laura has a great time.
This really is, I mean, it's an exciting weekend. We've been waiting for this for a long time.
50 years.
The joy that that this weekend will bring America for a long time is palpable. And what I'm talking about is the marriage of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce in New York.
New Yorkers not happy about this.
I bet you any money that they're going to have the air on. Oh, that's a good one. Mom Dami, give us a call, 219-845-1100. Are you going to make
the Madison Square
Swizzle?
So Madison Square Garden going to be at 78 degrees this weekend.
Yes. Because I got to imagine that. How many homes do you think you could cool for one Madison Square Garden? Like 10?
Well, they shouldn't even have air conditioners to begin with.
Oh, they shouldn't.
So New Yorkers not happy about this because the New York Police Department is going to be basically creating a zone around Madison Square Garden.
Like a cone zone?
Like a cone zone. Hundreds of police officers expected. Everyone is behind a paywall here. Let me find. Here we go. Here's one without a paywall. So starting yesterday, they had road and sidewalk closures around Madison Square Garden, Friday and Saturday. So a lot of road closures. Again, we're not going to New York this weekend. Doesn't affect us, but it's been an interesting discussion about. It's funny because she's the one wealthy person that people don't attack. I mean, again, she's generous with her money. That's cool. It's kind of like that story about, was it Bezos' wife, Mackenzie? It's like everybody's talking about how she's giving away her money. And I just keep asking, well, what is she solving? And again, it's great that you're, giving away your money, but what are you solving? Is it going to like NGOs that are going to have galas with it to build new stuff for themselves? Or is it actually going to the people? Because historically, when you throw money at problems, it doesn't go to the people that you're intending to help. And so again, I don't know what her plans are. If it was me, I'd go, I don't trust any of you fools. I'm just going to start my own organization and give away my money. But I mean, that becomes a thing. It's like so many people applaud her and say, hey, kudos for you for giving this money. Like, what is it doing? I'd like to quantify who it's.
Oh, we lost him. So we'll 219-845-1100. Give us a call back. So T-Swizzle and Travis donated $26 million to 20 charities ahead of their wedding.
Okay.
I don't know why they chose that time, other than perhaps to buy goodwill for the closing of the roads. Although, according to the interwebs, T-Swizzle has been generous with her money. But some of these included Harvest City, New York City, Food Bank of New York City, New York Cares, Los Angeles Regional Food Bank, Harvesters, the community food network out of Kansas City, ASPCA, Dolly Parton's Imagination Library.
See, that's a good list. Food banks, Dolly Parton, good people to give money to. They're going to make sure that good things,
a handful of after-school music programs.
Okay,
so
and again,
like, hey,
that is something that, I mean, even when at my time in Chicago, it's desperately needed. We bring back music. That was one of the first casualties as we cut budgets back in major cities. They cut back on those kind of programs. So again, kudos to her. She's giving away money to valid causes that will actually help people, and good for them. What else?
Oh, I was just sending Lynette a text to mute her mic.
Oh.
Because the singular... There we go. Oh, that's nice. Although it was nice to hear what air conditioning, sounds like here at... I know we're not supposed to talk about it. But
No, it's beautiful in here. I can't talk about it. It's fantastic.
We do have WJOB Southern Command is now operational in St. John, so perhaps we'll...
No, it was funny because Jim came in and he's like, well, why aren't you guys doing it there? And I was just looking at Lynette, who's like, so basically everybody's going to leave me here in the dark studio with the caterpillars and the spiders, and you guys are all going to go to the air conditioner. Like, thanks for that.
Caterpillars, there was one of them 1,000 Leggers out
the
there.
Millipedes?
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't bite, Lynette. They don't bite.
They're nasty to look at.
But they don't bite. They don't hurt you.
My biggest fear.
Biggest fear?
And this is something my daughter had this fear. It was funny because she was afraid of things that don't bite, like ants and like ladybugs and stuff. It's like, why the fear of things that can't hurt you?
I'm scared of ants too. And
But why, though?
I'm scared of all bugs.
They can't do anything.
Ants will bite you.
No, in the South they can. If they're red in the South, but not here, they don't bother you.
I don't see color when it comes to ants.
Well, the red ones. See the red ones because they are nasty.
See, that's hurtful.
Okay.
Now we're going to get letters.
So since Lynette's microphone, again, I'm being Brett today. Down in Bama. Those red ants. Why are you trying to have your barbecue?
But you know what's not in Bama? Doc Smokehouse, 1420 Calumet Avenue, Dyer, Indiana.
You're going to lose your discount.
There's a discount?
Yeah, there's a discount for WGLB employees. Okay, so Lynette's mic is open, so let's ask her. So earlier this week, Tom Dabberton was talking about patriotism. Is a neat story about being in Florida and singing military songs and stuff like that. And I told him on his Facebook, I said, I'm really, to me, it's, I'm envious of people that can sort of just continue to find patriotism amongst all of the problems in this country. What are your thoughts? I mean, again, Lynette, for your generation, like, does anybody even care about this anniversary? Is anybody, like, are your friends buying lots of fireworks and planning a barbecue? Like, what is your generation doing this weekend?
I don't think we're doing anything. I mean, I'm forced to go celebrate with my family. We're going today instead of tomorrow because tomorrow's going to be too hot. But I don't really care about the 4th of July, fireworks, barbecues. I understand the meaning of it. It's not something I am excited to celebrate.
No, I
like
don't,
Christmas.
Right. You don't. I mean, I don't disagree. I get where you're coming from, but I mean, that's an interesting thing. Again, Bob was talking earlier about the people that buy lots of fireworks and they'll be drunkenly celebrating till Monday morning, and and there's some people like, I'm just gonna stay home and watch something and not do that. So
you know where 4th of July. The semi-quincentennial, all of this America 250, where a lot of it loses its luster, and this can be somewhat critical of even the current administration, is when politicians get involved and start making it about something different. I love what's the saying, love your country all the time and your government when it deserves it, or whatever that.
I mean, it hasn't deserved it in my lifetime, but yeah. Well, even the idea that there was an argument that I guess the Smithsonian had originally planned this event, and then Trump came in and took it over, which is where a lot of people dropped out, and obviously you had the performers that were going to perform at the event. They were getting threatened by and
then the America 250 money got somehow funneled into the Freedom 250, which was more of a political thing. It's like, talk about, kind of killing the mood.
Right.
And so that's why I brought in my giant 8x12 American flag. Threw it up. I am patriotic from head to toe. You'll have to trust me on the rest of that. So I'm liking it. I'm going to go spend some time with my sister, and we're going to do some fireworks. We bought some. Going to have Liam run around with some sparklers. But it does. I get the sense that the world is telling us maybe not to be too excited about it, but I don't know. I am.
I like the poppers that you throw on the ground.
Oh, I should have brought you some. We went to Costco and bought them in bulk. 40 boxes.
Oh, geez. You're going to be blowing stuff up all year round. I wanted to shift gears. Why don't we take a break, and I want to shift gears and talk about MK Ultra.
Ooh.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah.
That's an interesting story. So it's a good story for 4th of July weekend. So let's take a break. We'll come back with more after this.
Crazy Kaplan's Fireworks.
Hi, I'm Greg Kaplan. Most of you know me as Crazy Kaplan. I started in the basement of my house with the vision of someday running my own fireworks business. Crazy Kaplan's Fireworks prides itself on taking care of you, the customer. Our largest fireworks store is located at Exit 5, Klein, and 8094 in Hammond. These showrooms right now are jam-packed. Because we import and buy volume, we can offer fireworks a huge savings and pass it on to the customer. Our selection selection will blow you away. As the saying goes, stack 'em deep, sell 'em cheap. Just like Papa Sam used to say, make the customer happy. The best selection of rockets, mortar shells, aerials, firecrackers, fountains, and family assortments. Come see us at Crazy Kaplan's Fireworks. We promise to make you our next #1 customer.
Crazy Kaplan's Fireworks.
I'm a victim of being ran over by a semi while I was flagging. The person wasn't paying attention and they hit me with their vehicle.
I seen a accident where we were the first people to walk up, and that picture will never leave my mind.
I've seen people get hit before. It's been horrible.
Construction zones on roadways and bridges are more than just cones and equipment. They're the workplace for thousands of dedicated union laborers.
Everybody has a family that they need to get back home to, so please just pay attention to us out here while we're working.
We all have family, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but we're trying to make the roads better for y'all.
We're doing this for everyone.
We're hardworking Hoosiers, just like you. And we all want to make it home safely.
People would just take a couple seconds to pay attention.
Be aware where we're at, where the cone zones are at. We're all in this together, and we're all just trying to be safe.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Hey Region, I'm T, and I grew up in East Chicago, went to college in Gary, worked out of Munster, and raised my family in Crown Point. I'm Region to the core. I created Region Hot Sauce, the flavor of the region. Added to chicken, fish, pizza, eggs, and more for the perfect blend of heat and flavor. Visit RegionHotSauce.com for a complete list of locations or to order direct. Region Hot Sauce, the flavor of the region.
It's fine.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Welcome back to WJOB 1230 AM 104.7 FM, streaming live on YouTube's everywhere around the world. I think they're watching us in England and in France and Egypt. That's all I got. Traffic's fine. Weather's hot. Showers sprinkling occasionally, possibly tomorrow. I don't know. Let's talk about MK Ultra.
Well, we got to take a call first. Let's do that.
We got calls.
Take a call.
Hey.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
No. Hey, good morning, boys.
Hello, sir.
Again.
Welcome back.
The other day, Bob, in the vehicle, I was running down the road trying to loosen my load. 7 politicians on my mind.
I was going to say, you got a million things on your mind?
I heard the Weezer podcast. And he was talking about the differences in, the last celebration and then tomorrow's celebration.
Yeah.
Jim Weezer. If I could go into my Jim Weezer for a minute, if you guys don't mind. Geez, I think Oscar's done a fantastic job. I think, the sheriff's had some missteps, but I think he's done a good job overall. But Jim Weezer, the difference back then and today, if Grandpa goes to watch the championship track meet and he gets there and he looks at his son and daughter and said, this is a girls' track meet. Why is my grandson here? Because Dad, Joe, decided he wants to be Joanna, but he's won every heat up until the championship. That's the difference between then and now, Mr. Weezer. To restore the professor's faith in humanity, and I'm surprised Walt hasn't brought this up. Are you with me?
We're here.
We're here. Bated breath.
The new program in Chicago by Mayor Brandon Johnson, $100 million for the Department of Gun Violence Prevention. I think we're on our way to eliminating crime in Chicago.
I was really surprised. I mean, I don't know why they haven't done the obvious, which is just put up no crime signs all around the city. Like no crime after 10 p.m. I mean, why don't, it's easy. Just put up a sign that said this is a crime-free zone, and then people will stop committing crime.
They do have, in some places in Chicago, they have on the street, what are they? The
safe passage.
Safe passage.
So you basically say, hey, look, crime not legal on this street. Yeah. Go do your crime a block over because the kids are walking to school.
So they have solved it.
So they have. I mean, yeah. So, but why not make put the safe passage sign on all the streets, and then people just won't commit crime anywhere. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is why I'm not a politician, because I think of the easy answers. Maybe I'll be a consultant. But again, this goes back to our, what we keep talking about, this idea of let's create another program. Let's just make crime illegal, and then people will stop committing crime. I know the Supreme Court.
It's not so, Chuck. Another program.
The Supreme.
It'll work, right?
Well,
this one is different.
It's like gun laws. We already have several, 20,000 gun laws. One more definitely going to solve the problem. I know the Supreme Court's about to hear. I think they're about to hear. They're about to hear a case about assault weapons. I don't know if they already heard it. I was reading about that the other day. So again, this idea, here we are. We're blaming the guns again. We're blaming Glock. We're blaming Smith & Wesson because...
we should sue. We should be able to sue those manufacturers.
Have we thought of that yet? Let's sue the gun manufacturers. Problem solved. Let's sue the spoon manufacturers because I'm fat.
Professor Walt, don't give up the ship just yet. This is going to take care of it. Bob, no need to go in front of the council about that 3-mile wall. Hold off on that.
Why don't you guys put up crime-free zones
We need to do that. We need
Can
to
we do that? Let's do that this weekend.
Okay.
We're going to put up crime-free zones. I mean, there
in
you
5
go.
minutes, we've solved it.
Done.
Look at
Way
that.
to go, Starkey.
We're done. Oh.
Best councilman ever.
And then
all right.
if somebody commits a crime in Dyer, you just pull them over and go, did you not
see the sign?
See the sign that said no crime? This is a crime. What is wrong with you?
Well, guys, we have to think about this. If they aren't able to see the sign, am I then required to provide eye care for them for glasses so they could see the sign?
Right. Do we need to buy you glasses?
Yeah, you got a good point there. That's going to require another program.
That is. But Chuck's in charge of programs, new program development.
Yes, I will definitely solve your problems.
Yeah. Well, we solved it and then we backtracked a little. But we're almost there, guys. We're almost there.
It's just a thought, Bob, whether you want to bring it up in front of the council at the next meeting. But do give credit to Chuck on this as well, because he was part of it.
No, absolutely. I always take credit. I'm getting a key to the city. But, okay, hey, appreciate the call. I want to get into this, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll see if anybody else wants to talk about this. It was interesting to me. Every once in a while these things pop up. A few months ago we were talking, Randy Niemeyer was in here. We were talking about the UFO hearings. There was another hearing a few days ago. It was the House Task Force on Declassification of Federal Secrets, and they held an MK Ultra hearing titled Mind Control and Accountability. So what's interesting about this is another one of those stories, as Jim, calls me tinfoil hat, that a lot of people talked about these MK Ultra experiments. And everybody said, no, it's an urban legend. It's a conspiracy theory. Didn't happen. And then here we are decades later having these hearings. And I want to give kudos to Rep. Anna Paulina Luna and a handful of other people, mostly Republicans, some Democrats. And they basically said, hey, we just want to get to the bottom of this. We want to have some accountability. And it was really interesting. They had a handful of people. So they had a university professor, a doctor, an author, and they were talking about MK Ultra, which, as if you don't know, is sort of the CIA. Again, conspiracy theory didn't happen until boxes of documents show up that proved it did happen. That basically talked about mind control, using LSD to control people. And it has a lot of far-reaching implications. You say, well, why does it matter that happened 50 years ago? They've been tying MK Ultra to things like the Manson murders. There's a really interesting story involving Jack Ruby after the Kennedy assassination, James Earl Ray. There's all these interesting stories from that time that have ties back to MK Ultra. And you kind of say, well, Chuck, what does it have to do with, the region and a morning show, whatever? But again, it was interesting. My favorite part of the whole thing is one of my new favorite heroes. Rep. Tim Burchett from Tennessee came out and said, the reason that we're not going to deal with this is because Congress is so dadgum compromised. Only Tim Burchett would say that. Dadgum compromised. And it was amazing to me because here he is sitting in the halls of Congress saying the quiet part out loud, that we are so compromised as a body that we're not going to deal with these issues. And kudos to him for saying it. Kudos to this commission for getting together. But again, this is what we need more of. When you say, well, how do we solve issues? I mean, and again, MK Ultra, even going back to they experimented on prisoners, and again, it disproportionately they affected, poor communities, minority communities. They did experiments that we're just now learning about in the communities. They were giving drugs to prisoners. We don't know how many people died in the process. That's one of the things that we need to look at and just sort of say, okay, what were we doing then? And one of the questions that came up in the hearing was, are we still doing it? And of course, everybody said,
couldn't possibly happen. Couldn't possibly happen.
It's sort of my Epstein argument is like, hey, that was important, but is it still going on? Who's the new Epstein? Maybe we should focus on that and figure out, like, hey, who's doing this now instead of talking about it 20 years later.
No, I'm sure it just ended.
It just ended with him. I mean, that's how crime goes. When you catch the criminal, when you catch the criminal, crime stops. Yeah. Nobody else takes their place. Again, you put up the sign, you catch the criminal, problem solved. You don't even have to worry about it anymore. But again, that, when you talk to me about like patriotism and stuff like that, I get to a point where I get, I love the region. I love you guys. I love the callers, my neighbors. I love the region. I love you guys. But it's really hard to be excited about things when, as the rep said, we're so dadgum compromised. I mean, and that's the reality. And we have to look at that. And a lot of you guys like, hey, take the weekend off, have a barbecue, shot fireworks. That's the kind of stuff that just gnaws at me, is this idea that, we've got two sides of the coin, both sides funded by the same people, both sides compromised. And we really were just like, fireworks, barbecue, the Bears. I mean, that's sort of my deal. When people ask me, what's your deal? That's my deal. It's like, what do we do about that? How do we fix that? Bob, thoughts?
No. And this is why, because the whole time you were talking about MK Ultra, which was, 50, 60 years ago?
Yeah, it was in the 60s.
So the fact that it's just coming to light now, there are files on Kennedy and MLK Jr. that are supposed to come out at some point towards the end of this decade. And I'm thinking at some point in 50 years from now, we'll find out what happened really with Building 7. But my point is, when you say, as you're half smirking now, yes. Well, I've been watching MK Ultra stuff for 20 years on History Channel, but it's always after 11 because, these kooks on TV, because this type of stuff would never happen.
Everything's a conspiracy until it isn't. But even the idea of the UAP hearings, it's like, look, it is what it is. Like, you can sit here and say it's a conspiracy theory, and there were people who lost their careers over it, people that were ostracized for saying, hey, I saw a UFO, or maybe they were abducted, whatever. It gets to a point where, like, hey, you can make all the jokes you want. There's UFO hearings now, and there's not been Bigfoot hearings and ghost hearings. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things. Hey, I just want to get to the bottom of it, and I've always said, like with UAPs, I want to know how and why and how much our government has spent covering things up that we probably should at least be, in the loop about. Like, hey, at least just acknowledge that it's happening so we can make informed decisions. And that's one of my issues. But going back to the broader thing of whether you talk about MK Ultra, the moon landing, Building 7, there is this line with government that they can't cross. Because I think one of the things that's fundamentally I keep saying is that if we can expose one thing, if we can pull the thread on one thing, whether it's Kennedy, well, you pick the topic. If I can pull the thread on this and convince you that this has been 50 years of lies, then maybe you'll go, hey, wait a second. If they're lying about that, maybe they lied about literally everything. And that, to me, when you talk about what's my motivation, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, is I want to pull those threads so that you start going, wait a second, were they lying about that? Maybe they were. Okay, what else were they lying about? And then you go down the rabbit hole. And then maybe you as an individual, you start saying to yourself, hey, maybe I need to start making decisions greater than left and right, DNR, and whatever, the guy that grew up in my neighborhood. Start making decisions based on who is going to go to Washington and tell me the truth. And again, even going back to what Walt was saying earlier about George Washington, this idea like, I don't even want to be president. Like, oh, that's fine. I'll go. I don't want to go. Like, find me those politicians. Find me the guy who's like, you know what? I'm good, but I will do it. And I'll go. I'm not going to insider trade. I'm not trying to control your life. I just want to go because you guys talked me into it. I'll go and I'll have a good time, and then I'll come back, but we'll make some good laws in the process. Like, where are those politicians? Where are those people that are just like, hey, look, I'm not sitting here saying I'm going to run for Congress anytime soon, but I've often, well, and here's the thing. I was joking about this with somebody the other day. I think I said on the airways, here's what would be cool. If I was a congressman, would I insider trade? Absolutely. The difference is I would come on these airwaves every Monday morning and go, hey guys, here's what
week you should.
Insider trading is a conspiracy theory, but here's what I'm buying. Here's what I'm buying, and you guys should too, not financial advice. Again, just pull the veil back and go, hey, look, insider trading, it's a conspiracy theory, but here's what I'm buying, not financial advice. So, I mean, again, like this idea that why is it so hard to just find people? And I think you're one of those guys. I've met a lot of people here locally. It's like, you are not, your goal is to keep it simple. You want to make your community better. You just want to get in there, keep the streets clean, have a concert now and again, and you don't want to control people's lives. Like, why? I mean, honestly, why are people like you not trying to rise in the ranks of going to Congress?
There is and we've got some callers here. We'll get to you in just 2 seconds after that. I don't know why you would want to do that. The amount of ring kissing,
right,
to be able to break into that, the amount of groveling to the grifter and donor class, and I have zero desire for that.
That's why you'd be perfect for it.
Yeah.
That's why you'd be perfect for it. Why don't we do this? We'll take a break, and then we'll take those calls. Let's take a break, and then we'll have plenty of time for calls. So let's do that after this.
I'm a victim of being ran over by a semi while I was flagging. The person wasn't paying attention, and they hit me with their vehicle.
I seen a accident where we were the first people to walk up, and that picture will never leave my mind.
I've seen people get hit before. It's been horrible.
Construction zones on roadways and bridges are more than just cones and equipment. They're the workplace for thousands of dedicated union laborers.
Everybody has a family that they need to get back home to, so please just pay attention to us out here while we're working.
We all have family, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but we're trying to make the roads better for y'all.
We're doing this for everyone.
We're hardworking Hoosiers, just like you, and we all want to make it home safely.
People would just take a couple seconds to pay attention.
Be aware where we're at, where the cone zones are at. We're all in this together, and we're all just trying to be safe.
This is Brian Short, business manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
I'm Pastor Eric Boone, pastor of the Tree of Life Church here in the great city of Gary, Indiana, the Notre Dame Credit Union. Go beyond and above to make sure that we are in position to make that greater impact. Listen, this credit union is one of a kind. And I'm looking forward to the future because I know that we will continue to do greater things together, and I'm forever grateful for a credit union like this.
Visit NotreDameFCU.com.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
Enjoy the taste of summer at the Farmers Market at Fox Point. Every Tuesday from 9 to 1, shop locally grown fresh produce, delicious baked goods, artisanal treats, and local culinary creations. Just minutes from I-8094, the Farmers Market at Fox Point in Lansing, Illinois is a perfect spot to hear acoustic musicians, stretch with morning yoga, and enjoy community fun throughout the season. To see all vendors and entertainment, visit foxpoint.org. That's point with an E, foxpoint.org.
$7:43.
Welcome back.
It's your show. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chuck. Yeah.
Am I wrong, though, Jim? We were just talking about MK Ultra. It's a conspiracy until it isn't. Go ahead. He said do traffic and weather. There's no traffic. Weather's beautiful. It's going to rain tomorrow.
All of that is true. We've got some callers. We've got 18 callers. We're going to try to plow through all of you.
Okay. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
You guys want to hear some good stuff about MK Ultra? You need to listen to the Alex Jones show. I think it was on Wednesday. He had a guest on, and they spent a whole hour on it.
Okay.
Yeah, and MK Ultra is real, people, and it's better. They started doing it in 1956.
56. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and it's real. And well, you just need to go listen to the show. You have two guys that really know what they're talking about this crap, and they've been doing it forever. And it's just like the guys that tried to kidnap the governor of Michigan. They had them guys. They had them mind controlled. Probably even the guy that shot Trump, that Cooks guy.
Right, and that actually
Whatever
came
happened
up.
to him?
That actually did come up in the hearing at one point, and they were sort of asking those that were testifying to speculate on that. So again, it's one of those things where if you're rolling your eyes right now and going, "Oh, these guys, I can't believe," this is the reality. This is the reality, and these are things that we need to look at, because I look at this and I say, look, the important part of all of this is Congress, the president, regardless of who was in the White House. They had no idea this was happening. They had no idea this is happening, and we're just scratching the surface of things that are happening. And I go back to Eisenhower and Kennedy both talking about the shadow government and things like that. Again, that's not a conspiracy. Eisenhower said it on the way out, and Kennedy said it on the way in. He said, we have a shadow government that is trying to take control, and what happened to Kennedy, and you can tie what happened to Kennedy back to MK Ultra. And it is such a rabbit hole. And you can sit here and say, Chuck, you're full of it. That's fine. Take 5 minutes.
No, you're not full of it.
Right. But I mean, again, we need to understand the depths at which the human mind, even going back to in the hearings, they talked about the ties back to we basically picked up where the Nazis left off with some of these experiments. And we know this.
That's where they brought it from.
Operation Paper, right?
Yes.
But I mean, even Operation Paperclip and things like that. This is not a conspiracy. It's well documented. You can sit here and say it's a conspiracy all you want. We know that these things happen. You have legitimate Congress people talking about it. You have hearings going on in Washington. You have to ask yourself. Go ahead.
Even going back to that time, I was just Googling it just to make sure my memory was right on this. When you're talking about what Eisenhower said, what Kennedy said. You can even go back to what Patton said before he accidentally
had a car accident.
Had a car accident. I mean, literally survived, the worst war. And
then criticized the government, had a car accident.
Then said, hey,
because that never happened.
Yeah, because, hey, I think the government's doing something weird, guys. And then
was he driving a water car at the time?
Yes.
Maybe that's why they.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
And so no, it's. There was a T-shirt I saw on the internet that said it's a great time for a conspiracy theorist because we're now realizing everything is true.
And so again, that becomes, but that becomes the interesting thing. And I go back to, I've talked about this like on Bob After Dark, this idea that every president in modern times has had that same discussion. And you can go find Obama on Jay Leno, what have you, when they say, hey, what's going on with the aliens? He's like, it's need to know, and I wasn't need to know. I mean, even like Obama told Jaden Smith that. He's like, I'm not need. I mean, imagine that's the reality that we're living in when the presidents come out, both sides, and they go, we're not need to know. They won't tell me. Like, they won't tell me, and I didn't want to have an accident, so I didn't push the issue. President Clinton came in. He campaigned on this. He's like, I'm going to come in and I'm going to find out about the aliens. And then mysteriously, once he won, he's like, no aliens. We're good. I mean.
Yeah. No, people, like you said, the people rolling their eyes. Stop watching Rachel Maddow and CNN and Fox News and all the crap, and go watch some more interesting stuff with people that really know what's going on, and maybe you'll learn something,
But I mean, again, that to me is when we talk about, I talk to people on both sides of the aisle about pushing for new policy and things like that. I'm like, until we solve some of these issues, we need to come together. We talked earlier about the outsiders like DSA and, people on the right that are trying to come in and buck the system. Until we can all come together and find common ground and go, hey, we need to fix this broken system first. We need to figure out how to scratch the surface and tear this down. Then you can start having conversations about moving things forward. Until we acknowledge the past and talk about all of these problems we've had and all of these horrible things that were done in the name of, science and, democracy. But again, it was also the boogeyman philosophy. Everything was, what did they say during those hearings? We had to do it because the Russians and the Chinese, we didn't want them to get ahead of us. That's always our argument. Oh, the Russians and the Chinese, another boogeyman. Everything is that same boogeyman argument, and that's the problem. Is we got to say no more boogeyman argument. We're not spending money on this. We're gonna get we're gonna move forward. But anything else before we move on?
Yeah. Nope. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate the call. Let's take another call. Good morning. You're on the air.
How you doing, guys?
Good. How are you?
Good morning, sir.
All right. Hey, if you want to read two good books on this subject, one of them is called Tavistock by Daniel Estulin. It's about the British think tank came out after World War II. The British used their Nazis they captured to learn everything they could about using the media to propagandize and change the mindset of entire nations using the media.
Operation Mockingbird.
Then the Americans actually picked up on that. That was back after World War II.
Right.
But the second one is the one by Tom O'Neill, who just testified at a Congress, called Chaos.
Right.
It's about the MK Ultra project, and specifically about a doctor named, I think, Jolly West. This guy was his head psychiatrist working with MK Ultra. He personally worked with everybody from Jack Ruby to Timothy McVeigh to Charles Manson. This guy, he was evidently some kind of a Svengali. He was able to get these people. By the time he was done with them, they would admit to crucifying Jesus Christ. I mean, these people are so diabolical. It's hard to believe. But the problem with the American public is they've been in the dark about this for 50 years, and it's upsetting to them because it's gone so far. I don't think they can accept it.
Well, and it's interesting that I'm really intrigued by Jolly West and Jack Ruby, that whole story. And what I said is, I mean, it's interesting because we had, we had the hearings after the Kennedy assassination. We had two different hearings. And essentially, they did the same thing that we continue to do this day. Is like, hey, we're going to have a hearing about this issue, but then if anybody comes in and starts talking about something we don't want to talk about, we just ignore it and say, nope, stricken from the record. We're not talking about that. So there was all of these interesting...
I think it was back in the 70s, they had the Church Commission.
Right,
and,
exactly.
I think it was. And some of this came out then. They were calling people... That was where they actually decided that it was a conspiracy to kill Jack Kennedy.
Right.
One of the witnesses they were going to call, I think, was Sam Giancana.
Right.
He wanted to find out the connection of the Chicago mob to the Kennedy assassination. He wound up catching like 5 bullets in the head right before that.
Right, and a couple guys ended up
but like I say, Jolly West especially is a very interesting character. I mean, these guys, people. Another good probably source of a popular source for a lot of people is that movie Good Shepherd with Matt Damon about the CIA and the operation of the CIA and what goes on. But like I say, people are just I think it upsets them. They just can't accept the idea that these kind of things go on. They've got a Pollyannish attitude about how the world works, and they don't want to think that it's true, and I don't know if they'll ever accept it.
Well, and that's the problem, is right. If you don't accept the dark side of things, I mean, again, that's part of the problem. Is we have this sort of the rose-colored glasses of patriotism. I mean, again, be patriotic, go America, but accept some of the things that accept and understand what we're capable of and what we've done and what your tax dollars have paid for in the process, whether Congress approved it or not.
The Epstein thing is a classic case here of it's like hide in plain sight.
Right, exactly.
I mean, nobody even wants the media's not going to talk about this, and the public. They have to be dragged into this thing. It's sort of like in World War II when they had to drag the German citizens to the death camps.
Right, and show them
what it was really going on.
They all knew what was going on. They didn't want to accept it until they had no choice but to face the reality.
They wouldn't accept the belief. They're good Christians. They wouldn't do something like that.
Right, exactly. Well, hey, appreciate the call.
All right, guys. Well, thanks
Take care.
a lot.
I apologize to future callers.
So this is for Starkey.
this discussion that he's having right now, as Chuck says, we are both each other's longest running adult companion, I guess. All right? We met years ago, and we talk almost daily at times, right? So I know him
so
well.
I'm the third wheel in this hetero partnership here.
So I mean, I know his family, and all right. So, so he's helped us out tremendously. But
Thanks,
from
Chuck.
the very first day we were trying to fix something in the back, it was all about conspiracies. And then one time, we're working back there, and I'm like, dude, you need to wear a tinfoil hat, man. But everything's a conspiracy.
But
even how things are designed, and you see how they design this server?
Planned obsolescence.
Yes.
Yes.
Everything is a conspiracy. I'm sorry, Stargate. What are you going to say?
No, I was just going to say that the thing about it is so much of it is turning out to be true.
Okay, I agree with that. But here's my point is that for you, Chuck, it has been very consistent. And sometimes you're very insightful on what's really going on. Sometimes you're kind of out there and kind of caught in the internet maze of corn maze, and it's just a little bit much. But you are very consistent in looking for the sub story of what is really going on.
And that's been my entire life. And I feel like deja vu. I think we did this last week or earlier this week when you joined us. We talked about, that was always who I was, this idea of, you're getting the story from the media, and I don't think they're giving us the full story. And I realized that early on, sort of as a young adult, was the media isn't giving me the full story. Where are we going to go find it? There were places as the internet emerged, there are places to go find it. But here in the region, where do we find the rest of the story? And that's where I found WJLB, and I found you, and now we're here sitting in front of a giant American flag talking about conspiracies.
It looked better before Jim threw it off there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just want to enlist. It's not a huge listenership on a holiday, but those who are listening, and Chuck, I have pressed him for a long time. I'm like, Chuck, there is an audience for this. I will sit down once in a while and listen to conspiracy theorist podcasts. If it's, I go through the title, and, specifically I kind of like the Kennedy stuff, and sometimes I like some of the stuff going on behind the space race and that kind of thing. I think what you're doing, there is a huge market for what's behind the story. What are they really doing? Usually it comes down to people just trying to rip you off for money. But that's your podcast. That is if you were to give that the energy that you're giving to the morning show and that you give to WJOB, I think you could do a lot of good for people and trying to explain things that they might think are a little bit goofy right now, but many times you have proven to be reasonably accurate.
I appreciate that, but also the idea that we need to pigeonhole these discussions. That's the problem, is you're trying to pigeonhole a discussion. This is now a news topic.
Now, this is a conspiracy about conspiracies.
Right. Here's my conspiracy back. But again, is it a conspiracy when you're having Senate hearings about MK Ultra? Is it a conspiracy, or is it now mainstream? It's a news story. It's no longer in the realm of conspiracy. It's a news story that not a lot of people covered, which is why we're talking about it today, because the mainstream media didn't bring it up. And again, you've got legitimate Anna Paulina Luna, Mace, Burchett, legitimate people coming out and saying, hey, we want to talk about this. We want to get to the bottom of it, whether it's MK Ultra or UFOs or the Kennedy assassination. You can't pigeonhole this into conspiracy. This is now mainstream news, whether you like it or not.
So I understand your point with that, but you have to understand what Colby taught me years ago, and I have never strayed from anything he taught here. And that is, when you go on the morning show at WJOB, you talk about local things. I used to come on and I used to like to talk about sports and NFL, and I used to like to talk about, aviation. I was flying a lot then and so forth. And he'd be like, all you got to do is go on for 2 hours in the morning and talk about the school referendum or traffic on the Borman or, how much construction there is. So there's a time and a place. You're trying to mainstream your theories, and I'm all for that, and I will support it. But you're also pigeonholing yourself because now you're only on this. Now only 3.5 million people can hear your signal. So in your efforts to not pigeonhole it as conspiracy theories, you have already done that. Okay?
How is this not a local story? How does it, even going back to that, how does this not affect us?
All right, explain why it's a local story.
It's absolutely a local story.
Talk about
it. You can look at the idea that what I talked about earlier, Tim Burchett, he came out in the middle of this hearing, he said, we're not going to deal with this because we're so dadgum compromised. He basically said Congress is compromised. And who is Congress? A local representative, several representatives from this state and neighboring states, et cetera. So this idea that when you look at, I always talk about the statistic about Congress. Congress has, like a 15% approval rating, yet an 85% retention rating. Why? Because it's always the other guy's fault. Everybody else is the reason Congress is so dadgum compromised, but not my guy. So, there's this idea that everybody sends somebody to Congress. My guy, it's Mr. Smith going to Washington. He's fighting for me. It's all the other guy's problem. We have an entire country of people that go, my guy is the good one, everybody else is the problem. And then when your guy gets to Washington, he takes the same money that everybody else takes, and then rinse and repeat. So it's a local issue because it starts locally. Who we send to Indianapolis, who we send to Washington has a direct impact on these kind of issues.
No. And this is how Colby taught it to me. That's called false extrapolation. Okay? And that's exactly what he called it. He's like, you're taking national issues and saying, well, it affects everybody and it affects us here. It does. But you have to start with local issues, and then you could extrapolate them to other areas.
Okay.
Really what you're doing is you're pigeonholing yourself to this by not taking what I have urged you for a long time to make a podcast that is available to people who question the truth or question what they're fed internationally.
It's 8 o'clock.
And where you can hear that
hang on.
podcast.
Go ahead, you do it. Go ahead.
Here on WJOV, 1230 AM, 104.7 FM in beautiful Hammond, Indiana, streaming live on the YouTubes everywhere. We're going to skip the break. Traffic's fine. Weather's hot and muggy. Chance of showers today. Scattered thunderstorms tomorrow. Keep an eye on the weather. There's a million different apps for it. We've got a handful of calls, and this is my show, and I'm taking it back. Good morning,
I am going to
caller.
go.
You're
I
on
just
the air.
wanted to say that to him. Thank you for letting me come in.
Anytime, boss. Good morning, caller. You can stay, Jed.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine. Chuck, Indiana Beach is celebrating their 100-year anniversary.
It is. You're right. Do you want to go down there?
I'm going to take the tickets and give them to my daughter.
Okay, send me an email. It's my name at Gmail, chuck.pullen, Pullen at Gmail. Send me an email with your info, and you will get a family 4-pack. Send your significant others down to Indiana Beach. Hope they have a good time.
Can you send that to Mike's cell phone?
I can text Mike. Yeah, I will text Mike and tell him to send me somebody. I need somebody's email address, so I will text Mike and tell him to email me.
Okay, and I've heard stuff about that in Kyoto too. They said it was bigger in like the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Right. So, this becomes the question, though. Jim just came in and said, hey, you need to talk about, storm damage and the bears and talk about school referendums. And the people of the region don't want to hear about this. And I think that's the problem, is that we continue to go, well, we don't want to hear about it here. They don't want to hear about it in Iowa. They don't want to hear about it wherever. So we're just not going to talk about it. And I think that's the problem, that far too long we've said, well, I'm driving to work. I don't want to hear about these things. These are things that have affected you and previous generations and future generations. And the idea that we just don't want to talk about it. Talk about the bears, talk about, the roads, talk about what's going on in Highland, Griffith, Cherville, that's all you guys want to hear about. But again, we have this great variety of people here on these airwaves. Every day you'll hear a different voice with different perspectives and different stories. And that's what's great about it. We're here once a week, sometimes twice. We talk about what we want to talk about. And then, Tuesday, somebody else will be in here talking about something different. I think that's what makes the region great.
Yeah. All right. You guys have a great force.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Too.
You do the same. Let's take some more callers. Good morning, caller on the air.
Yeah, Chuck, and Bob, just stick with what you're doing.
Okay, let's talk about
D-Lo
Griffith for
is
the
like
rest of our. Let's just talk about Griffith over and over again. Let's
Yeah,
talk about what
yeah,
the Griffith bingo,
the hell.
the Griffith concerts. Let's talk about Dyer's let's just talk about just things going on in the region, and let's not try to talk about things outside of our little bubble. Let's just keep talking. We'll just talk about those things over and over. Let's talk about the Bears some more. Why not?
D-Lo is the George Costanza effect. If he's going left, you better go right.
It's like Jim
Jimmy's
Cramer.
with the liberal Democrats in the media, all those losers who keep on saying, oh, what you're thinking, you must be a conspiracy theorist because you don't agree with us. That's all it is. It's ridiculous.
Well, right.
Let's say for everything with COVID. What a bunch of crap, and we were all told we were insane and we were idiots, and it turns out we were right on the money. Hunter Biden's laptop, oh, that's not real. And it turned out to be they had it for 2 years and sat on it. Oh, Joe Biden, he's perfectly healthy. Are you insane? Stick with your show, Chuck. You're doing great all the time. And when Jimmy says, thanks for letting me on your show, you didn't invite him in. He just walked in.
As soon as he walked in, I just opened up the chair. I said, roll on in. I know you want to join us.
Right, because he doesn't have a show, and when he does, it's terrible. Just stay in the control room, Jimmy, and ruin the equipment. Like someone on the chat said about 50 times today.
He'll spill bagel on it.
The people on the chat are saying if they hear the name Colby one more time, just keep up the good work, Chuck and Bob. You're doing great. And by the way,
a compliment. Here comes the part where he's
doing
great.
This
is the part.
By
the way, you're fat. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Oh, no. Hey, how's is the weight coming off in that new sweatbox there, by the way?
I mean, seriously.
You guys
I think we lose 2 pounds every show at this point. I'm fine with it.
Just 100 more shows to go.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah, I was thinking about coming in for drop a couple before I put the Speedo on and head to the beach today, but I think I'll just go right to the beach. But anyway, great show, boys. Hey, by the way, the fireworks at Cherbourg last night at Rohrman Park, the best I've ever seen in the region ever.
I saw the vertical videos on Facebook.
They look unbelievable.
Yeah, they look fantastic. I think I think Dyer has been challenged to up the ante. You got a few more weeks.
Come on out on the 17th.
Yeah.
We've got
the Verve Pipe and fireworks.
I don't know what more you could want. A beer garden, a bunch of food. Safety.
I'll tell you what, man. They had 3 grand finales last night. People were in shock, literally sitting in the thing. Everybody thought it was over one time. All of a sudden, boom, boom, another grand finale. And then when the 3rd grand finale went off, I thought I was in Venezuela getting ready to watch buildings fall down. But I will say this, though.
Doing so well.
The little ghetto teen takeover over there last night was a little bit scary.
So
we got to start trying to clamp down on that.
So let's talk about that real quick before we let you go, because I saw a little bit of this on Facebook. And again, so what I heard, and I don't know if you saw it, that basically a bunch of kids just started running or something happened. I mean, what was your perspective on it?
Oh, I saw it.
Okay.
I saw it. And what I saw, which was absolutely appalling, was when a bunch of black kids cornered 2 women with strollers and wouldn't let them push their strollers down the blacktop path. And when they said, hey, excuse us, we're trying to get through, and then they said a bunch of derogatory things, now I got to get off the bike and set it down, and here we frickin' go. You're going to tell a bunch of women with strollers they can't use the bike path? Okay, that's enough. Start handcuffing people.
And you pulled out your handcuffs.
No, don't take the bait. Don't take the bait.
Bike and okay, we do have to take a break.
You can't treat mothers with strollers like they're dirt under your feet in a town you don't even live in.
Okay.
It was appalling.
You were doing so
But
well.
anyway, stick with it, Chuck.
Thank you. Appreciate
You and
the
Bob
call.
are doing great.
We're going to take a break. We're going to take your calls. We're here for another 20 minutes. We'll be back with more after this.
Before Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, we were being charged various maintenance fees and various check writing fees for all of our accounts. And with Notre Dame, we don't have that. We have that true community partnership. We get interest based on all of our parish and school accounts, and the interest rate is really second to none.
Come to Bands, Bikes, and Brews on Saturday, July 18th at Fox Point in Lansing, Illinois. A celebration of rock, motorcycles, and cold brews explodes at 3 p.m. with live music from Grindstone, Fatal Order, and Count 77. Rock out with headliner LA Guns. Rev up with special guest and bike judge Danny the Count Coker from the History Channel's Counting Cars. Admission is just $20. For tickets or to register your bike, visit foxpoint.org. That's point with an E, foxpoint.org.
I'm a victim of being ran over by a semi while I was flagging. The person wasn't paying attention and they hit me with their vehicle.
I seen a accident where we were the first people to walk up, and that picture will never leave my mind.
I've seen people get hit before. It's been horrible.
Construction zones on roadways and bridges are more than just cones and equipment. They're the workplace for thousands of dedicated union laborers.
Everybody has a family that they need to get back home to, so please just pay attention to us out here while we're working.
We all have family, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but we're trying to make the roads better for y'all.
We're doing this for everyone.
We're hardworking Hoosiers, just like you. And we all want to make it home safely.
People would just take a couple seconds to pay attention.
Be aware where we're at, where the cone zones are at. We're all in this together, and we're all just trying to be safe.
This is Brian Short, business manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strag and Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
It's 8:11 here in the region. We are in the home stretch of this quasi-holiday here on a Friday. The
semi-quincentennial eve.
To you too.
Who celebrate.
Hope you all celebrate. So we were just talking earlier. Jim likes to come in, drop a hand grenade, and walk out and go to goat yoga or whatever he does every morning. But I mean, he brought up a valid question. He said, "Well, this is local radio. You should be talking about local things." And I say, all of these things that we talk about, whether local or national or international, earlier today, ultimately have an effect on us here in the region. And this idea that he says I'm pigeonholing by talking about conspiracy theories and things in Washington. I say you're pigeonholing by saying we're only going to talk about, the Bears and Griffith and Cherville and stuff like that. Speaking of, you're going to talk about what's going on this weekend.
I am. So Friday, July 3rd, today, semi-quincentennial eve. You can get fireworks at Cedar Lake, Crown Point, East Chicago, Gary, Hammond, Hebron, LaPorte, Munster, Whiting. Tomorrow, on July 4th, is another Crown Point. This one's at the Fairgrounds, Hobart, LaPorte, Lake Station, Lake of the Four Seasons, Long Beach, Maryville, Michigan City, Portage, Porter, Rensselaer, Valpo. Sunday, Highland is doing theirs at Homestead Park.
Is anybody doing the drone shows? Did that fall flat? I mean, it was neat, but
they're kind of cool. I think they did a drone show over at one of our new ad folks over at Fox Point.
Yeah.
Either Fox Point or they've got that Fort Hanger over there. Somewhere over there. I think I saw a video of them doing that.
They should do both. They should put the drones up and then see if the fireworks knock them out of the sky. That'd be fun. And if you catch one, you win a free prize. But wait till it stops first.
There's also a bunch of parades.
Yeah.
Going on. Let's see. Where do we got some parades?
Lake
Station Parade
everywhere.
Today. Celebration. Munster's doing their parade tomorrow on the 4th. Whiting is doing their fireworks tonight and their parade tomorrow. Porter, Rensselaer, Portage, all tomorrow. Yeah, lots of good things going on. I found all this on Town Planner of NWI on the face page. They did a pretty good job of having AI generate some good graphics of what's going on where. Crown Point tomorrow, parade at 11. Hobart always does their parade tomorrow, too. So, yeah, lots of parades, lots of fireworks. Keep your fingers.
But yeah, let the professionals handle it. Keep your fingers. That way you can drink and watch fireworks and, whatnot. So we got any calls? We got a whole bunch. Let's take some calls. We got 15 more minutes before we get out of here. So let's take your calls at 219-845-1100. Caller, you're on the air.
Good morning. I'm calling BS.
On which thing?
I've waited. I hear the same thing over and over and over. Anytime any somewhat conservative person comes on these airways, I hear the same spiel. Keep it local. So does this mean I don't have to hear about the insurrection? I don't have to hear any more about Trump derangement syndrome. I don't have to hear about what does make America great mean. You're saying it's not great already? So is that what I mean, owner of this station? And since you love Kobe so much, why don't you pay Lynette a little bit more than what you were making in '84?
She's giving you a thumbs up on that.
Yeah, she's gesticulating wildly. I've never seen her so enthusiastic.
One day, Chuck and Bob, honest to God, I would just love to talk to you and speak on issues that I could bring up that I know 95% of your audience in the so-called local community, the local hoods, do not even know about. Just one real quick one. You had the lady from Cal Township call you up, and she was always calling in the past about her community being unsafe in the Calumet Township section of what we call, it's unincorporated Gary, okay? If I were to tell your local people, and this may seem off topic, but I'll make a point. If I were to tell that dear lady that her police department is technically the Lake County Patrol Division,
right,
because the Lake County Patrol Division primary responsibility is to patrol her area, which she repeatedly says on these airways is unsafe. The problem jumps to, we have politicians in Gary and Hamlin and East Chicago and say, well, what about us? And my response to that is change the charter. That's just one example of where people locally don't know what they're talking about. And it happens on these airways all the time. And if you bring things up that are off the beaten path, if you will, oh, you're being negative. Oh, Mr. Peterson, he was on here the other day. I could bash Munster Republicans. I was on this station 20 years ago talking to Preacher, bringing up, and I don't want to go with the attorney stuff. I'm not talking about that. Mr. Peterson, please listen to it. He spoke about how when you're in a community, and Bob, you could get this, if you're in a community and you're 99.9% of all your elected officials are of one party and nobody questions nothing, it's very easy to just go along, to get along, and always go along, to always get along, to always say that's the way it's been done.
That's the way it's always been.
I've been on this station saying the same boring things to Preacher. Everybody loves Preacher, but people don't bring up the fact that Preacher was believing exactly what I was saying. But see, we'll get pigeonholed to what about the attorney? Well, this is a great attorney. Blah 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 blah. And I know him. Deborah knows him. Everybody and her grandmother knows him. Great. But what about the other issues that he brought up? Case in point, he was blamed for the public works director leaving. Guess what he said? The man got an offer from Valpo, more money. He left. Wow, I'm shocked. Police chief said his wife told him, you've been doing this for 38 years. Time to stop. So that's two people. He was blamed on this whole station for a good week by some of the know-it-all intellectual people on these airways that didn't know what the hell they were talking about. He explained two of them. two of the issues right there, which he was blamed on. Now, granted, again, the attorney issue, we could fight that all day long. But again, I brought up issues to the Republican. I'm a fiscal conservative, a socially moderate Republican. I go to the country club. Well, so do I. I brought up basic Munster issues. They were scared to death to answer, and I'm talking 20 plus years ago. Simple issues, because they didn't want to offend anybody. I'm a Munster. I got a golf shirt, a khaki pants, and a laptop, and I gotta go to Woodmar. But Woodmar closed. I gotta go to Innsbruck. Well, now I gotta go to Briar Ridge. They're scared to death of their own shadow. You bring up basic problems that were implemented, and they're scared to answer the question. And then, like the one gentleman said, everything's fine. I hear people whining and moaning and groaning about issues as it relates to the Jewel. Don't say nothing. The festival that's canceled. Don't say nothing. We don't want to offend nobody. We're afraid. I find it funny. Mr. Peterson's bashed, but he praised Mayor McDermott, a Democrat from Hammond. Isn't it funny, the people who speak out and have a little bit in common as it relates to their personality, they compliment each other? Don't you find that a little strange?
Well, I mean, come on. We have plenty in common here in the region, regardless of but that's the whole thing is what I talked about. And again, you say, well, I don't care about Munster. The conflict is bigger than that. As I said earlier, the Lake County political family tree doesn't fork. That's the discussion. No. It's not about Munster. It's not about what has or the conflict is the discussion, and that affects everybody. And
but the thing is, Chuck, when we bring it up, it's either you're against the Republicans, you're against the Democrats, you're against, and the problem is, like you just alluded to, like Bob said, and I'm not tooting his horn. I was pleased to hear him say he's interested in what he does in Dyer. It's not about the next job. To me, that was a good thing. But to these local people, when you say that and you're in a party, that's a bad thing. Why do you? I'll be fair. They say the same thing negatively about Mayor Copeland of Hammond, of East Chicago. Well, he's too worried about East Chicago. To me, if I was a 60-plus-year-old person in that city and that's where I was going to die, I would welcome that. But see, within the party, that's negative. But by Bob not saying he's not going for the, quote, the next job, that's bad. Indirectly, they're not going to tell him to his face. It doesn't matter how good of a job he's doing now. That's irrelevant.
Right, but this was also the discussion we had earlier this week or whenever it was where I said, look, you have Bob and Dyer, you have Copeland, East Chicago. Let them run their community, but we have all of these layers of government where you could have, again, why is regional development? Why are these different groups not coming together and saying, hey, why don't we, because that's literally in our name, why don't we work together? Why don't we bring these different members of the region together and talk about regional planning instead of just talking about it, building another bike trail? Why don't we talk about ways to save money? Why don't we talk about ways so that way Bob can worry about Bob and then somebody else can come back and say, hey, Bob, I was at this meeting today. We had a great discussion about doing this or how we can save money doing this. I think we should do that. I mean, again, why is it? So let Bob worry about Dyer and let the regional organizations worry about the region and bring these ideas back to Bob.
100%. But
how hard is that?
What is the first thing they tell these politicians? And Mayor McDermott, I'm sorry, indirectly, he's a victim of this. Are you going to go for that position? You're going to go for that? Anything that comes up, possibly come up. First thing these people do is they run to him. Are you going to go for that? You're going to apply for that? You're going to go for that? And I think indirectly, people in Hammond see that as a negative. So it's almost hurting his chances to move up because they're saying this guy's just looking out for the next job, and it's brought up to him. He's not even talking about it, but it's like next guy up must be you, McDermott. Next, even though he don't mention it. You running for governor? Huh? You running for governor? It's again, case in point, we had a tragedy in Maryville. Here's my point about the poor relief. Why should we not have a county poor relief? Meaning, those people are fighting for their lives over there in Maryville. Where up here in North Township, what's the next golf body?
Right.
We're in the same county. It's government. Shouldn't government serve in the poor relief section, serve our county?
or
yes,
have
yes or no.
task force that respond to these things. And again, like the governor comes up, photo op, he's in and out in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, again, again, as somebody who lived through the Munster floods, there was a lot of coming in. The Red Cross is here. The National Guard's here. You see them one time. They're in and out 15 minutes. They've got a tent on the other side of town. They weren't the ones that were dealing with it, right? I mean, they came in, did their photo ops, and said, "Hey, we're going to help you," and then we never saw them again. That's what happens.
Right.
And then you feel alone. At the end of the day, it's your neighbors. At the end of the day, it was my neighbors that were bringing us pizzas and waters. It was people in the neighborhood on a golf cart saying, "Hey, you need anything?" They're, the local volleyball teams like, "Hey, do you need anything? We're going to help you clean out your basement." Those are the people that came to help us. And the National Guard and all, they didn't. They came in, did their photo op, and left. But hey,
the thing is,
go ahead.
here's another example. You just brought it up of what government got in the way. That flood, you mentioned the flood, and I was on the airways at that time. There used to be a farmer at 35th and Chase in unincorporated Calumet Township. His name was Don Ewing. He used to take it upon himself, local business person, to clear the little Calumet River himself. Guess what government told him? Stay your butt out of the little Calumet River. And Dan, before your time, but you look it up, Don Ewing, Chase Street Produce, a citizen, used to take it upon himself to clear the culverts himself. And guess what they tried to blame? Well, because Gary wasn't doing their job. Well, you had a private businessman that was trying to do it. He was stopped by our federal government. The engineers, no more. Guess what happened? The rest is history. Now everybody's shocked.
Yeah, but we hear those stories. We still hear those stories. I read one the other day about the guy that got fined for cleaning up the river and stuff like that. I mean, those stories. The guy who built the staircase because the stairs are broken. They tore down. They fined him, tore down a staircase, and built another one. Like we hear those stories over and over again of the private sector trying to help, and then they say, no, we know better, and then you get fined or arrested or whatever.
I'm good. I'm happy to know we're not going to hear no more about Trump on these. So you tell Brent and the Tuesday show and all the other liberal shows on this, no more Trump, no more national talk. I want to talk about the corn roast in Crown Point coming up, or the Lake County Fair. No more talk of Trump. Dilo said it. You heard him. He's the boss. He's the happy. He's the chief. He's Mr. Big. No more Trump talk, Brent. Later, guys.
Okay, have a good weekend. Appreciate it. Let's take these last couple calls before we go. Next caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, hey, the boss steps in. Talk about stepping on the third rail, huh?
Like peeing on the third rail, but I mean, but again, that's what, to him, that's what we're supposed to be doing here, and I'm fine with that. I said, if that's what you want to do,
that's bogus.
I mean, come in and do your show, but
there's a time and place for everything. Northwest Indiana is not an island. We don't sit out in the middle of the North Atlantic or anything like that. We're attached to a lot of other areas here. They all impact us, including national topics. When you find out that the people that control our government are not the people we send to Washington, I think it impacts the region.
It's not a local issue. Don't talk about it. It's not your business. Don't worry about it.
To tell you the truth, I don't really listen a whole lot when you guys are talking about Hobart baseball or anything like that. So, and if I want to call into a station that just funnels you into the kind of speech they want you to get on the air, there's one down the dial that does that. That's one of the reasons I don't listen to them all that much. But you guys are doing the right thing. We need more people, more shows like what you guys do, and less of the stuff we're talking about, high school basketball or something.
Like I said,
that's just the way it is.
I was in Indianapolis last week, and I just happened to turn on the evening news like at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or whatever, and every story was, this town's having a festival. This town's having a festival. Like, there was no news. There was no substance. Like, hey, we're at this festival. We're at this festival.
We get that in the Chicago media. Chicago, I love Chicago media. The two top stories are, there were 5 people shot at this gas station, this guy pushed in front of an L train. Let's check the weather, and then we'll spend 25 minutes on the weather and sports.
Yeah, and let's talk about weather and sports, right? I mean, again, it's like,
we don't need more of that,
Right, and we've spent decades doing that, and what do you get out of it? I mean, I came from that world. I came from that world of news. I'm like, what are we doing? Every weekend we come in, say, hey, these people were shot. This is what happened. Same, again, it's tragic, and we just sort of gloss over it. Hey, here's the stats. Here's who got shot this weekend. There was no real substance to it, and that's why I got out of traditional news.
You guys are a breath of fresh air. Believe me, we need more of this kind of thing, not less. So that's how they actually been covering. Look at the Epstein case, for example. Nobody wants to talk. It's the elephant in the room, and nobody wants to address it.
Well, and I say the same thing.
Not affecting you,
right? But I say the same thing about
politicians. Go ahead.
The debt is the same story. That it's the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. They don't want to deal with it. But it's the biggest thing that we're not talking about, which is why I try to bring it up every show, because again, it's these big topics that we don't want to talk about.
Would you want to know if your politicians are being blackmailed?
Right. OpenSecrets.org. Check it out for yourself. Hey, appreciate it. Enjoy the semi-sesquicentennial. What is it?
Semi-quincentennial.
Semi-quincentennial. Yeah, that thing. Fantastic. Let's take another call. Any more calls? We're good. Okay, so we got 2 more minutes.
Fantastic. We got 2 minutes.
Lynette, anything on your mind? You're not doing anything this weekend. Like, what are you doing? Nothing.
I am, but...
What are you
It's
doing?
like, we're not going to tell you. I'll tell you on Monday. I'll tell you what I did later.
It's something dumb.
You're taking the train. Okay.
Nothing is dumb. Have you been paying attention to the last 2.5 hours? Nothing is dumb. What are you doing this weekend?
I'm meeting up with some people that I'm filming with.
You're doing a film project.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we talked about that. Lynette
is this one of those 48-hour things? Or
No, it's something real stupid.
Okay, we can't wait to watch
stupid.
it.
I'm excited.
Can we have them on Monday? Bring them in. Tell them they're welcome to come on the radio to promote their project. Yeah. Are you like the spy or something? You're gonna like shoot a bunch of people in the movie? What is your role?
I'm directing.
No, she's the
You're
director.
directing?
Yeah.
You can be Quentin Tarantino. You can be in your own movie.
I'm excited for it. I talked to her about it last week, and she's going to be back there and be all meek, but she's really into it. She's really excited for it. She keeps saying she's self-deprecating, like, "Oh, it's stupid." I'm excited for you. She's.
If it turns out better than expected, I will show it to you guys.
Okay.
They got a script. They've got a cast.
We've got a script and a camera and everything. It's going to be great.
And
we're going to have pizza and it's going to have all kinds of fun. We're going to order pizza for the crew.
I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
I mean, again, feel free. We'll critique it on the air. We'll watch it.
Although I do have to say, I did offer money. I said, that's how producers get credits. I said, do you need any money for it?
No,
I'll buy the pizza if you give a producer credit.
I got it covered.
Okay, we do need to go, I think, right? So
we do.
We'll be back. My show will be back on Monday. We're doing that?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that.
I'll take the flag down.
Just remember, drinking and fireworks don't mix.
They don't mix.
Have a designated blower offer guy. Whatever, what else? Enjoy your semi-sesquicentennial thing. Enjoy it. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Take a moment and just let's remember how we got here and why we got here and who made those sacrifices for us to get here. And we'll see you on Monday.
See you on Monday, everybody.
To walk up and that picture will never leave my mind.
I've seen people get hit before.
Construction zones on roadways and bridges are more than just cones and equipment. They're the workplace for thousands of dedicated union laborers.
Everybody has a family that they need to get back home to, so